runs, wins, becomes mayor maybe, and nothing exciting. Because he has a chance to really do something great for New York. New York is at a very critical point, and he does need the help of the federal government to really succeed, and we're going to be helping him. But he's different than, your average candidate. He came out of nowhere. I said he has a great campaign manager standing over there. He came out of nowhere. What'd you start off at 1 or 2? And then I watched. I said, who is this guy? He was at 1. Then he was at 3, then he was at 5, then he was at 9. Then he went up to 17. I said, let's get a little bit interesting, right? And then all of a sudden he wins a primary that nobody expected he was going to win. It's a great tribute. I mean, it's an amazing thing that he did.
And I'll just add one thing to what the president said. Is one thing I also appreciated is in our meeting to appreciate a portrait of FDR and the incredible work that was done with the New Deal, and also in thinking about what it can look like when the federal government and New York City government work together to deliver on affordability. It can be transformative.
We have a great portrait of FDR that I found in the vaults that was missing for years. I found it and I put it up. He's a Democrat, to the best of my knowledge. He's a Democrat. And when the mayor saw that portrait, he said, "Sir, do you mind if I have a picture taken by that portrait?" It's an amazing portrait. I hope the picture comes out good. But it's an amazing portrait in the cabinet room. So he's a big fan of the New Deal, I guess, and of FDR. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. President. You said that you both spoke about crime.
Yeah.
There are many police officers set to come off the rolls at the end of this year in New York City. Are you going to allow those police to be replaced with police officers, actual cops? And are you going to require that happens? Would there be some consequence?
Well, I hope it happens, but again, that's going to be ultimately the mayor's decision.
What's your answer?
Is that I look forward to delivering public safety with the NYPD, and I've said over the course of our campaign that we have the number of police officers today. They are the ones that's budgeted about 35,000 headcount. And I think the key thing is that we have to make it easier for police to focus on police work, not ask them to respond to 200,000 mental health calls a year.
So is that a reduction from what you're at right now? Are you committing to maintaining the same level?
I've committed over the course of the campaign to maintain the 35,000. That's the headcount that we had through the campaign.
And not replace them with caseworkers, social work?
No, I've said that's the headcount that we want. What we need to do is make sure they can focus on serious crime.
And he just retained a great police commissioner, I believe, right?
Yes, we did, Commissioner Fish.
If the newspapers are correct.
That one they're correct about.
He retained, I think, somebody that is she's a good friend of some of the people in my family, of Ivanka, and they say she's really good, really competent, and he just retained her, so that's a good sign.
It's a live event in the White House between President Trump and the new mayor of New York City. They were down to the last final questions
so we
here.
Disagree, and I think we'll probably come to a conclusion, and ultimately he'll convince me, or I'll convince him. It's for the good of New York. Ultimately, it's for the good of New York. I don't care about affiliations or parties or anything else. I want to see. If this city could be unbelievable, if he could be a spectacular success, I'd be very happy.
Do you think you guys will meet more in the future, too?
Excuse me?
Do you think you'll meet again in the future, throughout the administration?
I think we will. Yeah. I think we will. I hope we do. I enjoyed the meeting. We had a great meeting. Please.
Mr. President, Republican Elise Stefanik has campaigned multiple times by calling Zohran Mamdani a jihadist. Do you think you're standing next to a jihadist right now in the Oval Office?
No, I don't, but she's out there campaigning, and you say things sometimes in a campaign.
Isn't that sort of
She's a very capable person, but you really have to ask her about that. But no, I don't particularly. I think I met with I met with a man who's a very rational person. I met with a man who really wants to see New York be great again, and I can say again, because New York was great. When I came down to Washington initially, the city was so hot. It was doing great. We were having some telltale signs of problems. We had a mayor that was not doing a great job.
I feel like President Trump's about to weave a little bit, which is what he does. But let's introduce the panel, because that was actually a very interesting moment. And this has gone on for a while this afternoon. First of all, hello, Sue Thomas. How are you?
I'm great, thank you.
As we get ready for Friday, Jane is here this afternoon. Jane Duker, good to see you on this Friday.
Happy rainy Friday.
Yeah, it's a little gloomy out there. We have State Rep Steve Butts with us this afternoon. He's also running for State Senate. How are you, Steve?
Mark, great.
Well,
Thanks
Wrong
for having
microphone.
me.
There we go. I got to push.
Still,
when Ethan's
great to
not
see you.
here,
Thanks for
I
having me.
sometimes I press the wrong buttons. And then the former mayor of Ferguson, James Knowles, is here with us this afternoon as well. Hello, James. How are you?
I'm doing great, Mark. Thanks.
He is the city administrator for Troy, Missouri. Let's start with that because they're wrapping this event up, but everybody was like, oh, I wish I were a fly on the wall in that meeting. But then you come out with two people who are acting civil, and President Trump says a lot of nice things about the guy that he's been calling a communist. But again, I guess he differentiates, Steve, I'll start with you, between campaign mode and meeting at the White House mode, which we've seen this happen before. There's no doubt about it. But look, I genuinely believe, you can say what you will about Trump, but I do think he deeply loves New York City.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, Trump does love New York City. He's a New Yorker. You know, I have a daughter that's lived a bunch of years up in New York. We go there a bunch. And I really liked what he said just there. So, you know, I criticize Trump all the time. But to shake hands with Mamdani and say, I hope that he's successful in improving the lives of people that live in New York and making New York City truly the great city of the United States that it should be. I mean, that says a lot. I wish everybody would listen to that, including the president.
Yeah, I know, but by tomorrow, by tomorrow,
the
there are going to be
president.
names that are going to be tossed back and
Yeah,
forth.
the names thing they were in.
I don't know where there's
election mode.
where there's common ground between those two, because let's face it, James. I mean, we are talking diametrically opposed, and already the New York media is kind of trying to do their job and ask Mamdani, okay, you want free buses? How are you going to pay for it? And where's all this money going to come? You heard there he made some commitments when it came to policing. Look, I would say there's a couple of comments that I would have here. One politically, one maybe outside the realm of politics. But politically, I would say, as a cautionary tale to Republicans, look, this guy is good looking. He's slick. He's smart. Trump said nice things about him. He's going to have a way. We think he's going to be the poster child for everything that the Democrats are. I don't know that that's necessarily the case. But when it comes to solving the problems of New York City, I hope that Mamdani is genuinely honest about this, because he is going to need the help of the federal government. If he doesn't have a good relationship with Trump, that's going to be a whole lot harder.
Well, I hope that a lot of what he campaigned on ends up being just politics. And, you know, we just heard the president say that there were some things that were said about Mamdani by him and his supporters. And he said, that was campaign stuff.
Right.
But, I mean, when you get into local government especially, it doesn't matter if you're St. Louis City or New York City. There's a lot of these kind of socialist, you know, conversations that people have, all the gimmies and give outs that you're going to give. He's going to get there and realize he can't do that. He can't afford it. It's not really what the city is going to be doing. And I think he's probably going to have to moderate just by virtue of what he can actually accomplish as mayor of New York. So maybe we'll see something good come out of that. Hopefully he will have a relationship with President Trump that's fruitful.
But Jane, on the policing front, I mean, that's a key part of this, you know, because obviously you already have stories where officers are ready to retire, take jobs elsewhere. They don't feel like they're going to have the support from this guy.
Well, I want to say to the mayor, because I do like him, bless your heart. I mean, look,
Mayor Knowles?
Yeah, because this guy's not going to change his colors. I'm glad you're optimistic. I wish I could be, but I mean, I've seen what the progressives do in St. Louis. Why would I think this guy is any different? So I'm probably less optimistic than you are, and I worry about New York. I mean, if he says cops don't need to answer the 200,000 calls, which of those do you think they shouldn't answer? And, you know, you want to send social workers? Well, in St. Louis, when they send a social worker, which I'm not even sure they do it anymore, who knows? But they have to send, there's a cop with the social worker at all times. And every call, the cops still have to go to the scene to stabilize it. So you're actually using more police resources when you utilize the social workers rather than less. So I don't see how that adds up. Unfortunately, today, I saw in the Business Journal today that now they want to give away free college education in St. Louis to get people to come.
Well, that's on my list.
What planet are you on? I mean, and so that's very similar to the stuff he's saying, free bus service. Okay, well, yeah, it's all just money. It's all just money. But when you actually get to the money, yeah, things are different. I don't think he's going to get to do the things he wants to do, but it's not going to stop him from trying. And we've been trying all kinds of nonsense in the city of St. Louis. And, you know,
there's still 9 tornado sirens they can't afford to fix, but hey,
right.
we're going to pay for
But we're going to give
tuition.
college tuition. I
Right.
mean, you know, we still need cops. We still need all kinds of things. And, you know, we saw the level of departures of police officers when, you know, a progressive mayor was elected. And, I don't think New York can afford that. I really don't. So, I mean, it's very strange that St. Louis is trying to get away from this stuff. Very clearly the election was a mandate in the city of St. Louis that this progressive stuff's just not working. And yet, they're going to do the experiment somewhere else. And there are a lot of people who paid for these experiments.
Well, I know personally a couple young ladies in New York that voted for this new mayor, and here's the first thing they said: did you see the competition that he was running against? I mean,
absolutely,
and you
that's
have to
a problem.
throw that in. A big problem when
big
Cuomo
problem.
is the only other guy really running. Big problem. I will say this: if you're in New York or you got loved ones in New York that actually live in Brooklyn or
I do.
Manhattan, and I will pick on Brooklyn because I know it the best, the rent is insane. A walk-up 3-story brownstone 2-bedroom, about $4,200 a month, going to $5,100 a month.
Yep.
Crazy, right?
Yep.
However, I'd like to know how this new elected mayor says, I'm going to lower the rents. I mean, like, how can you? There are still some rent-controlled apartments from back
Way
in the
back.
70s.
Decades ago. Oh,
and,
yeah, yeah.
I mean, and they are like sacred grails to
Well, of course.
to get those. But that's few and far between.
And by the way, some of those are the size of this studio,
Right.
if not smaller.
Oh, this is spacious.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
you've been there. I get that.
Exactly, yeah.
There's a different lifestyle in New
I just
York,
hope it doesn't hit Brooklyn,
and people
where my
do
daughter is.
embrace it. But I'm just saying, how are you just going to tell thousands or tens of thousands of landlords, yeah, you're just cutting your rent? That's not going to work. The bus thing, he could probably figure that out. Kansas City does free
Well,
bus transportation.
okay, yeah, because everybody
we do
uses
too.
it.
We just don't collect the fares.
Right, exactly. But are they
Free
are they,
Metro
are they
too.
saying that the subway people aren't going to pay for the subway either?
Yeah, no, I just know in KC it's buses only. So
Well,
I'm gonna go with-
the bus service in Kansas City. I mean, I've ridden it, I've used it. I used it when I lived there. There's not much there, and so that's an entirely different.
But look,
game.
this is going to be about crime, and,
Yeah,
and
yeah, it is.
if he can't get a handle on the crime issue, and if this affordability thing, we're not going to have a magic wand, and Trump can't do it either when it comes to affordability. We have prices that are still rising. We have concerns in the economy that are still popping up. I'm watching them, Steve. Steve and I talk about this every once in a while. Verizon laying off 13,000 people. Some economic figures that could be soft. One of the things that I hear, and this is anecdotal, all right, but I do talk to a lot of people. I talk to people who are business owners who order supplies from overseas, who are importers, farmers. So there's a fair amount of concern because orders are significantly down for some of these companies. Now, some of it is a wait and see because of the tariffs. But for me, we had people that were predicting a recession maybe even by this time. I don't think we're in, negative growth territory. However, having said that, as we move into next year, I think there are some things that we have to be prepared for economically, and that's certainly not going to help the Republicans if you want to talk about the political aspect
I
of
do.
that.
I'm going to say this very quickly because it is mainly in politics. It's all about the economy. There's no doubt in my mind that's true. It is a guarantee. Trump's tariffs are and will continue to raise prices. I mean, just pick coffee, you slap it on there, then you take it off. That he's just crazy on this stuff. If you raise tariffs, it raises the cost of the stuff we buy. That
Well,
has
you
just
could
been
buy.
well-known for
There
a
are
long
options to buy American though, and I've
Not
talked to
on
some
coffee.
people.
That's why I threw that one out.
Well,
there.
I hate coffee. I
Okay,
like
well,
Diet
I'm just
Coke.
going with coffee. So let's go with that. Secondly, you and I have talked about this before, and those of us, anybody over the age of 25, that this economy, all economies, go through highs, lows, recessions, hopefully almost never depressions. Every 15 years or so,
We're kinda due.
We have a recession, and except for that goofy thing that happened in 2020, 2021, which was a depression that rebounded quickly.
Yeah, very different.
You go back, we really haven't had one since 2008,
And
2009.
we haven't had a big correction
So we
since
are
then
due,
either.
There will
no
be.
matter who's
House
the
prices
president.
are already happening.
Yeah, I think some of that is absolutely true. Hang on. It's a Reardon Roundtable for Friday.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
It's pretty foggy out there this afternoon, but right now we are looking good. There was some volume already. Yep, there it is. Westbound 6440 approaching Hampton on out through McCausland. Then some volume, too, as you head for 270, although it's moderate there. 70 looks pretty good out of downtown. Slow pocket, though, approaching Highway K out through Wentzville. And eastbound is jammed. There's road work east of Forestel, and that's causing a jam back to Wright City. Now, southbound 270, moderate volume, but it's approaching Olive down through, looks like 64. And northbound is slowing at the Clayton Road overpass. If you're headed into Illinois, we look fine on the bridges downtown. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on.
If you are facing divorce, contact Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Missouri can count on.
If you're considering an annuity as part of your retirement plan, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Annuities can be a useful tool for some retirement investors, but not all annuities are created equal. Every week, we meet clients who own complex annuities that don't suit their needs and, in some cases, actively undermine their retirement plan. Before you purchase an annuity, get a second opinion from the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel. Requesting a consultation is free of charge. To request a free consultation, contact us at clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member NYSE and SIPC.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/radio. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection, plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/radio. See representative for warranty details.
Bold conversations, no apologies. The Mark Reardon Show, 97.1 FM Talk.
It is a Reardon Roundtable on a Friday afternoon. We are joined by Jane Duker, who's going to hang out in the next hour as we have a little fun on a Friday. State Rep Steve Butts, James Knowles, former Ferguson mayor, currently the city administrator for Troy, Missouri. And as Steve reminded me during the break, you guys, let's talk about some good economic news, because, James, you got some word recently on some expansions at the Toyota plant up there, right?
Yeah, 57 new full-time jobs, not including the construction jobs that'll be coming along with it. A new line for hybrid engines. So anybody that drives a Toyota in this country or actually across the world, your engine heads are made in Troy, Missouri. We're very proud of that. 1,100 employees out there. It's great for the economy, great for the region, and no economic incentives were required to make those jobs happen. So we're excited.
I have an expensive British car that I wish I wouldn't have bought because it's costing me too much money. But I do have a Toyota 4Runner that my wife drives, and I've had 3 Toyotas, and I put 225 on a Camry way back in the early 2000s. And finally, my mechanic was like, "Yeah, maybe you should get, but 225,000 miles is pretty good, and we'll see what we do on the 4Runner." So
I
they're
have a
very
RAV4
dependable
hybrid.
cars.
That's how I get here cheaply from Troy.
Well, right. Either that or you have to book a flight, right?
That's right.
All right, let's talk about the mayor, not the mayor, I'm sorry, the sheriff of St. Louis, Alfred Montgomery.
wow.
Steve, you were in the jury pool, almost got called to the jury on this one, right?
Not on this case. I had jury duty this week. And, as those of us, if you're in the city, you feel like you're on jury duty about every 3 months.
Yep.
But actually, it's been a couple, 3 years for me. But that being said, I was down there Monday morning, Monday and Tuesday. I'm involved. You get on a panel. I don't get picked to be seated. But I thought, oh, this is crazy. The sheriff's trial is going to start. And I thought, well, I'm interested because, I did present as much information as I could to the Attorney General saying this quo warranto thing, we've got to pursue it. This is a guy who is so inept and unqualified at his job, yet carries a gun and a badge.
Right.
I fear something dangerous is going to happen to him or others. Yes. So crazy stuff has happened. Criminal stuff allegedly has happened. Thankfully, it isn't involving someone pulling out a gun, just handcuffs. But that being said, on the first day, of course, I think everybody knows he is not in court. And the irony there is, he couldn't get the sick prisoners transported from the CJC to the hospital, and somehow we can't transport him as a prisoner for his court date. That one is not his fault.
But let's point out just the bigger irony here is that his department is pretty much responsible for only that, transporting prisoners, right? That's why that's even more ironic.
Then they're bailiffs.
Well,
they serve
face
papers.
it. Right.
And they help on
Okay.
evictions.
Right.
They
but
do
still,
other stuff.
Everybody hires special process
when
servers.
when the trial started, how could you not? You had to be interested. So I was downtown yesterday. I just say I've got an hour and a half. I'm going to go sit in, and crazily, I was there.
Oh, for the throwdown.
I was there for
Awesome.
the throwdown from beginning to end. It was must-see TV.
so
and I know
the
it wasn't
judge
televised.
scolds Montgomery's attorney, right?
So yes.
And by the way, this is a good judge. He's not going to put up with the nonsense, and he's like, stay on topic, because didn't he accuse the lawyer? You're representing yourself. Can we get back to you representing your client?
It was Major Stokes was on the stand, and definitely there's bad blood between these two, and clearly the attorney Mason, who
was a former colleague of Judge Omer, is a
okay,
former
well,
judge,
he's
circuit
lost.
judge.
I don't know.
Was he really?
Yeah, he was a
Yes.
judge. He's a former judge.
Former
I know that
circuit
much.
judge.
And he's Montgomery's
They served
attorney.
With,
And he is Montgomery's
yes, he left the
attorney.
bench, and he is now.
So he's Montgomery's attorney, and he just got repeatedly confrontational on conversations between himself and the witness. And it went on, got a little heated. Mason gets quite loud. And finally, the judge says, I've had it. Are you here to defend your client, or are you here to defend yourself? And it was
Which
the
the
craziest
translation of
thing
that
you could say.
is that when a lawyer steps over the line,
That's a rhetorical question.
and becomes a witness, and if you're talking about the credibility of your conversation with someone, you become a witness, and you're not allowed to represent the client anymore then. So, I mean, the judge was trying to tell him, hey, buddy, the line is getting closer and closer, and I'm going to have to boot you off this case. I mean,
pick a role.
And so, yeah, I mean, it's just, but this is just part and parcel.
This is
It's
just
like these
it's such a
people
waste
don't
of
know-
time.
Right. And they don't know their jobs.
Yeah. Because
No one involved knows their job.
I would think that the sheriff's family, friends, his legal counsel would just say, resign.
Right.
I bet you everybody would drop all their charges if you would just resign.
I think you might be right about that. Look, I talked to Catherine Hanaway about this last night, but he refuses to do it.
I think he's mentally ill.
Well,
and that right there is the problem.
Maybe I have too many of the wrong Facebook friends, but the number of people who support him blows my mind. I mean, just
Elliot Davis is on his side.
I mean,
not completely. I had Elliot on last night.
But he was like, he's the poor guy's a victim. And I'm like, you know what,
There's a lot
Elliot,
of
he
people
could
that are saying
resign.
He didn't say victim when I am on last night.
I watch people who still, 11 years later, are on the city of Ferguson's case wanting, federal monitors to monitor what we're doing because there's still problems and we need to spend millions of dollars to babysit the new chief and the new department and the new mayor. And then the same people go around and say, this is a witch hunt. What are they doing to this poor man? You're just trying to attack this poor young brother that's trying to become, something with his career. And you think, wait a minute, you read the Justice Department report on Ferguson, and you
no, they haven't. That's the problem. They haven't. Yes,
from the Obama DOJ.
Yeah, the Obama DOJ, correct. But they come out and they see these accusations against Montgomery, and they somehow can
it becomes tribal.
Excuse that away.
Yeah,
and I just don't. It blows my mind. I mean,
well, look what we saw with Kim Gardner. I mean,
how bad did it get before some of these people stopped supporting her?
Well, that was at a different level, clearly.
Well,
but this is just
remember,
an embarrassment.
Though, Tashara Jones, Megan Green, this was their candidate. We owe a debt of gratitude to those again. I mean, it's funny how Megan's gotten very quiet. She gave money. She did the whole 9 yards to get this guy elected.
The last vestige of their group.
Yeah. Now, again, another progressive experiment down the tubes.
There doesn't seem to be a chance, though, Steve, based on what I've read and what you've said, that this is not going to result in him getting booted out of office. Well, so if he resigns, he can maybe save face, like you said, and not face criminal charges. If the quo works here and he's booted, well, then they're probably going to continue with criminal charges.
Well, the feds, as I said, even if he manages to make it through the state proceeding, he's not going to make it through the federal.
No.
So it's like, dude, the writing, the wall, read it.
Federal seems even more important to me. So
exactly.
Hang tight. It's the Reardon Roundtable on a Friday. We have 2 more segments to go.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Not a bad Friday right now on westbound 6440. Just some slow pockets of moderate volume starting Kings Highway, and then it goes out. You get kind of a big break in the middle, but it goes out through the 70 split. There was an accident eastbound 70 at Wentzville Parkway. It's been in the right lane, and there is a jam behind that. Westbound 70 out of downtown looks really good. It's a little slow at K and then just past Lake St. Louis Boulevard out through Wentzville. Now we have an accident reported at Forestell. That's caused a jam back to Wright City. And now an accident on westbound 370, and that's just past Elm Point Industrial Drive. So that's created a jam back near 94. This report brought to you by Barron Mirror Glass and Door. They have the largest, most beautiful showroom in all of St. Louis, full of the latest, most custom designs. It's in Chesterfield Valley, and there you'll see why they say creativity unlimited, quality unsurpassed. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum-sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
No paint, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Stop everything you're doing right now and ask yourself, are you currently receiving steady paychecks? What about when you're retired? Will you receive a monthly check to cover your expenses and also have some fun? Marvin Mitchell and the team at Compass Retirement Solutions calls this mailbox money. It's a monthly check you'll receive throughout retirement. They don't want you to worry about if the money will show up or how much money you'll receive. The only thing they want you to think about is how to spend it when it arrives. Find out how to get enough money in your mailbox every month when you're retired. Call Marvin Mitchell and the Compass Retirement Solutions team at 314-373-1598 to start working on a plan that can help you create the monthly income you'll need in retirement. Call 314-373-1598 right now and schedule a visit with Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois.
It's time for a $98 furnace
TuneUp.
For details and a list of all station contest rules, visit www.971talk.com/rules. From Collinsville to Chesterfield, 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Do a Friday edition of Sue's News with Paul Hall joining us in about an hour on some entertainment recommendations as well. Frank Cusimano will talk a little sports as we head into the weekend. We have a Reardon Roundtable right now with Jane Duker on the panel, Steve Butts, state rep, who is running for state senate, and James Knowles, the former Mayor Ferguson, who is the city administrator for Troy, Missouri. So I want to talk about a couple more things. I have the governor on. Steve, I'm going to start with you here on this. Governor Kehoe is on at 5 o'clock. I have not visited with him for a while. And one of the topics will be, and this is not new, he campaigned on it, getting rid potentially of the state income tax, right? Republicans have been talking about this for a while. What is your thought on that as a Democrat? Is it realistic? I mean, I think that Mike Kehoe thinks that this is legitimately possible. We've narrowed the income tax in Missouri from 6% to 4% because there was some legislation that passed a couple years ago where it steps down a bit for a couple of years. But thoughts on this plan as, it's going to be unfurled in a few weeks. No specifics yet.
Yeah, there's never any specifics on Republican tax cuts
whatever.
in Joe City. No, I can guarantee you that, Mark. They say we're going to cut the tax and we're going to investigate other ways to replace the revenue. I'm like, let's come up with the other ways to replace the revenue first, see if they work for a year or two, and then cut the income tax.
But I have this other crazy idea. Crazy. It's nuts. James, are you ready? Stop spending so much.
Not going to happen, Mark. It is not going to happen.
Well, by the way, the Republicans are in
not
charge,
gonna
and
happen.
they've been in charge for nearly 20 years.
20
So
years.
the
If there was any spending to
is
cut,
right
they
there.
would have done the,
Well, they
the
have,
spending
by
cuts.
the way.
No, they have
No,
not.
they haven't.
They have
the
not.
budget is twice when
the
I was
budget
there.
grows.
And why is that, Jane? You know why that.
the
What is
economy grows.
30% of the budget is what?
30% of what?
25% of the budget. It's
Well, most
Medicaid.
of it's education. No, most
the
of it's
majority of the budget is
Medicaid,
Medicaid.
and most of those are federal dollars that
Exactly.
we're getting. So no,
Yeah,
Mark,
those don't count.
those are federal dollars coming in. You can only look at
And by the way,
Missouri
we don't
general
even pay a
revenue.
match because we have the hospitals pay the match. So we don't even pay that much for Medicaid. It's education, it's prisons. Those are, that's the biggest driver right there.
Here, let's go back to the income tax. So we started at 6% just 8 little years ago, maybe 9 years ago. Now we're at 4.6. Automatic triggers kick in when revenue goes up. Not the worst idea. The idea of saying you're going to eliminate the income tax, and they point to Tennessee. I would say here's the big difference. If to replace that amount of revenue, we would have to take our state sales tax from approximately 4.55 up to about 7.55 or 8. We'd have to have an 80% increase in the sales tax. I don't think that's a fair way to do it. I think people here say the sales tax is high enough. Of all the taxes we have, people hate personal property tax, they hate real estate tax, they hate income tax, and they hate sales tax. That's the 4 ways of taxation.
Well, the problem with and so all things being equal, I could certainly support a 7 or 8% sales tax. However, that's not the only sales tax that we pay because we pay local sales
that's
tax
why I said
and we pay. No,
state
I know.
portion.
I know that. I understand.
Sure.
I'm just making sure the audience
It's going
knows.
to go to 12 or 13.
At least.
Easy.
At least.
At
We're
least.
already,
It's
I
already at
pointed
12 or
this out. It's
13
already at 12 or
Okay,
13
We
in
have,
some
the, we, have
places.
we still have the lowest gas tax.
Go to the
we have
Galleria,
the
it's already
lowest,
12.
lowest cigarette tax.
Okay, but hang on. Again, what James and I are saying is important. In special business districts and elsewhere, it is already maybe close to 12. So there's no way you can raise the sales tax to 20%.
And that's the
not
only
feasible.
way. That's the only
what'll
way to
happen in the
replace
city.
the income tax is that right there, because that is the only way. So I'm just telling you,
Yeah, there really is. I mean, that's the
that's the trade-off. I think of all the taxes, if you think about it, I'm looking right at you as, I guess, a conservative guy that you are. Income tax of all taxes seems to me to be the fairest. You pay more when you make more.
Right.
You pay less when you make less.
Here's what I would
And
also
we have
say.
a relatively
Sales tax is
low
very
Okay,
regressive.
I would love. I would love for Missouri not to have an income tax. I really would. But as an experiment, I would also suggest that people look at their paychecks. And when you see where the money is really getting sucked out, the Missouri income tax is not a large
that's exactly
portion
right.
of what
it's
you
the
pay.
feds. The feds
So
are getting all of our money.
yes, so I understand that. Now, from a business perspective, though, in attracting businesses here, wouldn't that be a significant factor?
No, it is not significant because We are a relatively low tax state. I'm like, how about this idea? We broaden the base through 3, 4, 5 ways of taxation, and you keep that rate as low as possible. We are in the bottom third in total taxation.
We are.
People don't just look at your income tax rate. If my property tax rate is going to double or my sales taxes are going to double.
So like in the city, the property taxes are lower in the city. They are, and everybody complains about them, but they're lower, but they have higher sales tax. Look, it's one or the other, guys. And from a procedural standpoint, I agree with Steve that, look, we need to have a discussion about taxation, okay? And all these discussions are going on, but people need to sit in a room and say, okay, we need to deal with all the taxes at once. Because this idea that we're going to experiment.
Why can't Democrats be proactive and say, okay, Governor Kehoe, we're going to work with you on this because cutting taxes is going to be good for Missourians. But how are we going to move forward and figure this stuff out? Because my sense, and you're not the one that's doing this, Steve, but there's a lot of people on your side that won't even give this.
Well, there's not
which is
enough
amazing.
of them
The Democrats aren't for tax cuts.
There's not enough Democrats to even stop anything.
For 3 or 4 years of my life, I've been on the special committee of taxation. We meet in the off season to investigate this very thing, or to investigate eliminating the city earnings tax. It all comes down to 2 things. You don't pay near enough in property tax. That's one. And I'm like, boy, when I talk to people, that is not anybody's.
No,
opinion.
that's not
number
real.
one.
Depends where you live.
It does. That's
I'm
the
just
point.
talking about St. Louisans. You don't pay near enough in property tax.
Correct.
No one, Sue will agree with me, says that. And secondly, your sales tax rate is way too low. You got to raise those. That is always the answer. And I'm like, that's not what I hear from people.
Here's a classically conservative idea. We should be allowing local governments and the local areas determine the best ways of taxation. Because in Missouri, and this is where I have a problem with Jefferson City trying to say what works in Cole County works in Lincoln County works in St. Louis City. Because when people in St. Louis City talk about their taxes are too high or the rates are too high and we want to cap rates, well, look, go to North St. Louis County. The taxable property is so low, you have to raise the rates high just to get the same amount of money for all of those local
And the
groups.
property tax has become very unfair.
It's become very unfair.
Very unfair because you have elected assessors who don't want to effectively assess.
Hey, I just bought a house in Lincoln
elected.
County that it's assessed at about half of what I paid for it.
Right.
And they don't intend to change that.
Right.
I guess maybe I shouldn't argue about that. But
No. But at
Lincoln
some point,
County-
somebody's paying.
But many counties have gotten the letter from the state tax commission saying you have to raise your assessments because it's wholly unfair. And what are the assessors doing? They're ignoring it. Some of them are
They want to
fighting
keep their jobs, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right.
They're elected.
We're
complicated.
coming back. We got one more segment. It's the Reardon Roundtable on a Friday.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Accident westbound on 370, and this is at Elm Point Industrial. We've got a jam that goes back through 94. Now, right now, that is the worst of it. Westbound 70, just moderate volume at Jennings Station Road, a little bit at K, and then out at Wentzville. But eastbound 70, first of all, there's an accident past Wright City. And then there's another one at Wentzville Parkway, so some slow-moving traffic out there. Westbound 40 is slow go. Now, this is in pockets, but it's Kings Highway all the way on out through the 70 split. Still just moderate volume, southbound 270, approaching Olive, down through the Clayton Road overpass. And northbound is slow right at Ladue Road. 55 slowing at Carondelet. Well, it looks like that's north of there now. Let's call it north of Loughborough, and southbound is slowing at Bates. And then it looks a little bit better. This report is brought to you by Lakeside Renovation and Design. For over 25 years, they've been St. Louis's choice for transforming homes inside and out. Outdoor spaces, windows, siding, kitchens, baths, quality craftsmanship, and lifetime warranties. Go to lakesiderd.com to start your dream project today. I'm Sue Thomas. That's Traffic 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Let's show our appreciation for local heroes. Mark Cox here. Nominate a first responder and their department could get lunch from Grill Master Tony's. I'll personally deliver it. Share their story at 971talk.com. Nominate them today.
This has truly been one of those weeks on Wall Street. It's been up and down and up and down. It's up today, 493 points, closed at 46,245. But I bring this up because I want to talk about Thomas Helbig and the team at the Retirement Advisory Group. We, even earlier this week, I talked about a piece that was in the Wall Street Journal where someone thought that a big correction is even needed or warranted on Wall Street. We haven't had one in a while. We were talking about the economy a little bit earlier in this hour. Now, you want to make sure, or if you want to make sure that you can lock in your gains, that's when you talk to Thomas Helbig, his nephew Bob Kershaw, Bob's wife Tammy, at the Retirement Advisory Group. They have a different strategy. I think you're going to want to learn it. If you go into the office one-on-one, you get a free copy of their latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. They'll schedule a meeting, sit down with you. They'll come up with a plan for you, a specific plan, customized, and you're going to get that custom strategy to help you reach your unique retirement goals. Get started today. Make an appointment at retirementkey.com for Thomas Helbig and the Retirement Advisory Group.
Woke radical liberals are screwing up this country, but Congressman Jason Smith is fighting back. He backed one big, beautiful tax cut for working families, ending Social Security taxes for nearly all seniors, and taxes on tips and overtime gone. So call Congressman Jason Smith at 202-225-4404 and thank him for backing working family tax cuts and putting America first. Paid for by American Prosperity Alliance.
Sponsored by Progressive. We make the claims process easy so you can get back on the road in no time. It's why over 43 million drivers trust Progressive. See for yourself at progressive.com.
You're listening to The Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
We're going to have a little fun in the next hour with Sue's News on a Friday. Paul Hall with some entertainment recommendations. Jane, I don't know what you're watching, but I've got a couple of things to toss out.
Yeah, we've been watching a lot of stuff.
Are you watching the Claire Danes show?
Finished it.
Yeah, I can't remember. What's the damn name of that thing?
The Beast in Me.
Yeah, that's right. You finished it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll talk about that.
Well, it
with
was
Paul.
so good.
It is pretty good. It's
and I'm watching about the president one. I love that one. Death
Garfield
by Lightning.
one. Death by Lightning. It's
Oh,
really
I'm
good.
gonna watch
yeah.
that, but I just
I like
finished
it.
New season of The Diplomat. Very good.
I'm
Very
almost
Wait,
finished with
well,
that.
I
It is
finished that
good.
one. Yeah, I finished that one.
Yeah, I'm almost
This
there.
is the best season yet.
I agree
think
with
it
you,
is.
Steve. You know what? I'm going to agree
agree
with you on that for sure. Because I was a little lukewarm on the second season, but
And I thought Slow Horses was the best season yet.
it was. I think we agree on that.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to talk all about that in the next hour. James Knowles is here, the former Ferguson mayor, current city administrator for Troy. That was Steve Butts, state rep, and Jane is here. You know, the week started. Let me sometimes you forget things that happen on Monday, but there was an interview that a reporter at Channel 4 did with Sarah Russell, the they-them that was running the emergency management organization here when the tornado went off in May. And Jane, did I hear Sarah Russell correctly in essentially blaming Dennis Jenkerson and the St. Louis City Fire Department and not really taking any responsibility of her own? Is that because that's kind of what I heard in that report on Channel 4?
I heard that a little bit too, and the disappointing part about that is she talked to like a dispatcher, and you know, I mean, when you're talking about manning the sirens that protect, I mean, I think you need to pick up the phone and call the chief. Okay, you're a department director. He's a department director. You don't call a dispatcher and hope that they understand what you say, you know, by manning the siren. I mean, who knows what this person knew or didn't know? So I think...
But, I mean, there's no dispute that this person was not doing her job. I mean, we have ample evidence of that. And then I don't know why she decides to come out and do an interview. She's applying, I guess, with the Civil Service Commission to get her job back or to get back pay or something like that.
Sure, well, and suing. I mean, I think, you know, I don't know. You know, she's going to probably say
she's
wrongful
been
determination.
she's been mistreated because she wasn't doing her job and she got fired, which she should have been fired more initially than she was.
And blaming Jenkerson, okay, first of all, you were at a seminar that had nothing to do with your job.
Yeah.
Nothing
and by the way,
to do
the
with your job.
report,
It was
unless
a
they edited
boondoggle.
out, the reporter at Channel 4 didn't follow up and ask that question
Right.
when she tried to offer
Like
excuses.
This whole seminar, what was it? What was it on? It was something ridiculous. It had nothing to do with the job. And, you know, you don't. The idea that it doesn't occur to you that someone should be in the office if you're emergency management, someone should be there all the time. I mean, what part do you not understand?
With every news broadcaster, weather reporter in St. Louis saying 48 hours before the event, between the hours of 2 p.m. and 7 p.m., we have a chance of truly severe
weather.
Yeah, it didn't come out of nowhere.
Weather.
Right.
Exactly.
It hit exactly when the meteorologist said
it was
gonna
going
hit.
to. And it's like, you know, and you just don't think that somebody needs to stay back to press the button. And, in her defense, the sirens still aren't working, or maybe they got them back finally. I'm not even sure of the status of that. But, but she knew the sirens weren't working.
It just goes beyond that, because when the report came out and the criticism, there's a lot there. And it was
just different layers of problems, and she's not seeing any of them.
There's no responsibility that was taken whatsoever. And I was confused by, again,
don't
go back
to the
point
seminar.
of the interview. Well, right.
Well,
or leave the seminar and go back, do your job.
Right.
At the very least, take responsibility. You were the one in charge. Just say, I have messed this up. This happened, but it is my responsibility.
Right.
It won't happen again. But nope.
Nope, can't do it. Can't do it. I mean, I think people would respect that more. I mean, because I think when,
They would.
Yeah, and when Kara came out and said, hey, the sirens didn't work, she didn't mess around. She said, this is a problem. It's unacceptable. And it's my name on the door. It hadn't been on there very long, but it's still my name on the door. That's what you do. And you wanted to be a boss. Well, you were a boss, the boss. And anybody who doesn't take responsibility when you're the boss, that's
So
a
why did she
character
do the
flaw.
interview, though? What's the whole point of the interview?
I don't know. Maybe she thinks there's people out there that support her. I don't
look,
know.
if they support Alfred Montgomery, maybe they do support her.
Good point.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. So last week, Jane, you mentioned this, and I don't think we talked about it too much, but then it became clear in the last couple of days that Arch Apparel is closing its Ballpark Village location. They won't have any more retail outlets. They had some, I know there was one at West County Mall in the past. I'm not sure.
Was there one on Hampton?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I think that was the original
Is that the
one
flagship?
that they had. Maybe that's where they manufacture some of this stuff as well. But look, if you read that story, this kind of goes hand in hand with some of the economic development stories that we're talking about. I don't know in the details. Did you see some of the quotes that were in the Post-Dispatch about this? Because they could not get people to come in there at all.
No matter what. I mean,
and obviously there's other businesses down there that are experiencing the same thing. It's not going to get better with baseball next year. We have a lockout the next year after that.
Right.
So how do these businesses survive? In the meantime, they're tearing down the hotel, the Millennium, and they still think they're going to put in 300
Mixed
condos
use.
at the AT&T building.
You know what? I've determined that mixed use now is just, well, whatever we figure out. I mean, look, you have to have people to have retail. So not
Not only that, even where you do have people, let's pick Chicago and New York City. If you just look, the amount of e-commerce that we're all doing, just think of everybody in this room. 10 years ago, how much did you really buy on Amazon or from Target and get it delivered? Not that much. Now it's
a lot.
The majority. It is just growing. It's the way it's going. So mixed use, crazy term. Housing in an urban environment.
First of all, we have a housing crisis in this.
Let's build those apartments.
Yeah, build the apartments. And I'm not talking, they only want to talk about low-income housing. That's all they will talk about in the city. But what they don't have are homes that new families can afford. And, all they care about is rehabbing. Well, you know what? Not everybody can afford to take a 100-year-old house and rehab it. You don't have any homes that young people, starter homes, or empty nesters who don't want, to rehab a house.
And nobody wants to spend $100,000 on a house, put $100,000 in it, and then have a $150,000 house.
Right.
So
exactly.
that's the problem.
The math isn't working, but they don't want to build just like homes that people could live in now. I mean, we have the biggest home builder in the whole Midwest here. They could build 200 homes.
Who would that be, Jane?
My family.
Yeah,
McBride.
thank you.
It's McBride.
Jane's brother.
But for the money that that's over at the CDA, the 20 or how many houses they could build for $20 or $30 million? Houses that normal people could afford, $200,000 homes.
As opposed to when they take on projects to rehabilitate apartments.
It's 10 times more
Have you ever
expensive.
noticed that the price of the rehab per apartment is like
it goes way up,
$400,000?
But they've taken affordable tax credits. So look, people know how to do it. Just build homes. This isn't. And how about talking to the experts rather than it's these. They want to do these programs that are just we're saving the world, and they want to hit a home run and they can't even hit a single.
Well, part of the problem too is they fight over where the money gets spent. So something transformative like that, you need to focus that money in an area and really transform a neighborhood, a community. Instead,
and they can't agree.
No, the board's going to fight and say, no, I want $1 million here, $1 million there.
No, we want to do daycare.
Yeah, I want a little bit in each ward, and it's like, okay, look, at some point you've got to plant the seeds and get it to grow.
So now we have homeless people who need to go to the armory
Right.
because these people who've been hit by the tornado, these people are not going to be able to rehab those homes with the original brick. I'm sorry. It's not happening.
But we could build new.
But we could build
We
new,
could
but nobody
build new.
wants a new house. Nobody ever. I mean, there is a complete bias against new homes in the city of St. Louis, and I don't know why. They passed that stupid home builder bill that holds new construction to standards that the rehabbers don't have. It all comes down to protecting, rehabbers in the city of St. Louis, and that is not good for the people.
On the Ballpark Village thing, though, a couple of things that were said in this article are interesting. Patrick Berry, who's the spokesperson, and maybe this is valid because I always thought, candidly, it was a little ambitious to have a store like that right across from Busch Stadium, especially because people like to go into the stadium stores. And I was also a little shocked when they had mall locations, for that brand. So what Patrick Berry says is, we're sorry they struggled as a business. It's worth noting that Arch Apparel closed all 4 of its locations and Ballpark Village was last to close. I think that is a valid point.
Fair point.
But what the guy, Aaron Park, who owned the, Arch Apparel said, look, they were telling them that they would see, Ballpark Village leaders told him he'd see 6 million visitors a year. This year, he's seen about 1 million. And he says, I invite people, and I think this is true too, I invite people to come down there on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday and see for yourself. Do you see a bustling economy that's driving multiple restaurants, retail stores, hotels, cafes? No, it is not the case. And it is not the case.
It is not the case.
In that part of town, it is not the case. And we are, a lot of the downtown economy, at least the tourist one and the foot traffic one, does revolve around sports. And when you don't draw the kind of, fan base that we're used to drawing, out punching our weight class, we're going to suffer proportionally
Throw
more.
in a lockout in 2027. See how that works
Devastating
out for us. Jane's going to hang out. It's going to be fun this afternoon in the next hour. Thank you for participating on this Friday. Steve Butts, awesome to see you. James Knowles, thanks for making the flight from Troy. Have a safe trip back. We'll see you.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Well, there was an accident on westbound 370 approaching Newtown, and that really had caused a delay behind it. Well, that is still a slow go back to about 94, but it's stretching back closer to the bridge. So if you are a westbound 370 driver, it's usually fine. You've got a delay today. And thank you. Somebody let me know on X. Paul, thanks for letting me know about that. Now, southbound 270 slowing at 70. Westbound 70, a little slow at Jennings Station Road and at Cave Springs, and then out at Highway A. It's eastbound that has slow pockets approaching Wright City through Wentzville due to a couple earlier accidents. 6440 lines up near Hampton in pockets on out. Southbound 270, some moderate volume at 6440 and headed for 44, but we still look good if you're headed into Illinois. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Well, let's talk about Susan L. Ward at stlfamilylaw.com. One of the things that, they offer you is the consultation. And there's no charge for a 30-minute consultation with one of the team members, and they're going to answer some questions for you and then, provide you with advice for the future. Now, obviously, it's not a free service, but if you are looking for an opportunity to sit down, if you have issues related to the end of a marriage or even things that may have happened in the aftermath, modifications that need to be made, Susan and her team are great. They've been here for a long time, a ton of experience. Brand new office also in De Pere at Manchester and 270. But again, fill out the confidential consultation form on the website or just call 314-783-9400. Say you heard it here on 97.1 FM Talk. Can I have that initial consultation? I'd like to sit down. Susan will even tell you, the team members, interview a lawyer like you would someone else. Like I would interview a guest here to make sure that they're a good fit. STLFamilyLaw.com, Susan L. Ward.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
An official message from Medicare.
Medicare plans change from one year to the next. And this year, it's important for you to review your current coverage and compare all your options during Medicare open enrollment. Compare health plans, drug coverage, and costs. See if you can save some money, and don't forget to make sure your drugs are covered. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Visit Medicare.gov or call 1-800-MEDICARE.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
For 100 years, KMOX has been part of St. Louis. Now, Together Credit Union is helping celebrate that legacy. Starting in November, visit any Together Credit Union branch to pick up a KMOX 100th anniversary commemorative ornament for just $5 while supplies last. Each ornament supports Children's Miracle Network of Greater St. Louis. Together Credit Union, honoring 100 years of KMOX, the voice of St. Louis, and Children's Miracle Network of Greater St. Louis, improving the health of all children.
Got something to say? Say it here. You've landed on the place for ideas. 97.1 FM Talk. Right here, right now.
Leonard Skinner. Foreigner. A night with rock royalty. Double Trouble Double Vision Tour. August 6th, Hollywood Casino Amphitheater. Special guest, Six Gun Sally. On sale now at livenation.com. Skinnerd. And Foreigner. Live.
Hey Max, you look sharp in that purple tie. Ready to harness the world as a guide dog?
You bet, Daisy. And your purple service dog vest really pops against your shiny fur.
First day on the job for both of us. We've got this, right?
You bet. Dogs Inc. trained us well.
Ready to make a difference for our humans?
Born ready.
Discover how extraordinary guide and service dogs change lives at no cost to the recipients. Visit dogsinc.org.
Hey, it's Mark Cox. Let's support our first responders. Inter Responder Rescue's ATF raffle. Prizes include top shelf bourbon, a lit cigar lounge VIP night, and a CZ P10 pistol from the range. Text responder to 33100 to enter today.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
I'm Chris Foster. Fox News. President Trump has called New York City Mayor-elect Zoran Mamdani a communist. He's called the president a fascist. They put all that aside today at the White House.
What I really appreciate about the president is that the meeting that we had focused not on places of disagreement, which there are many, and also focused on the shared purpose that we have in serving New Yorkers.
I feel very confident that he can do a very good job. I think he is going to surprise some conservative people, actually. And some very liberal people, he won't surprise them because they already like him.
They talked about affordability and the Middle East. Ukraine's President Zelensky says President Trump's proposed peace deal with Russia forces him to choose between his country's dignity and allied support.
He'll have to like it. And if he doesn't like it, then, they should just keep fighting, I guess.
The deal has Ukraine ceding territory to Russia.
Zelensky said today his country is ready for peace, but President Trump's really putting him between a rock and a hard place. Trump has offered Ukraine a security guarantee that's modeled on NATO's famous Article 5 that commits the U.S. and the European allies to treat a future attack on Ukraine as an attack on all. It would also require U.S. military defense.
Fox's Jillian Turner. Stocks in the day higher. There is optimism about another interest rate cut next month.
New York Fed President John Williams said that he sees room for a cut in the near term. All of the 11 S&P 500 sectors rose, and drug maker Eli Lilly hitting a milestone today and becoming the first healthcare firm to hit a market capitalization of $1 trillion as booming demand for its weight loss drugs has boosted its shares. Dow winners, Home Depot, American Express, and Sherwin-Williams. The Dow decliners, Microsoft, Walmart, and Nvidia. The Dow up 493 points. The Nasdaq higher by 195. S&P 500 up 64.
Fox's Hillary Barsky just in. North Dakota's Supreme Court upholds the state's near-total abortion ban passed in 2023, reversed by a judge last year. America's listening to Fox News.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
The wet continues. Periods of rain and some thunderstorms around. There could be some heavy downpours from time to time. 62 for the high. The rain will continue up until about midnight or so. 45 for the low. Rain shutting down is going to be a slow process. Saturday, mostly sunny, 62, and Sunday, sunny, 64. More rain early next week. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
This hour of the Mark Reardon Show is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Your trees deserve the best care. Call Gamma Tree Experts. This is the Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Jane Bucher is here. We have the Hall of Famer, Fred Bottomer.
How about old Fred Bottenheimer over there, ladies and gentlemen?
By the way, congratulations, Fred, because I know that you had a lot of work to do. Fred has so many different responsibilities in this building. Ooh. You know, maybe chief and foremost this show. I don't know. He might have a different answer to that. But you were very responsible as a point person getting the KMOX 100th anniversary celebration together. Yesterday was 11/20. The actual birthday is December 24th. It was Christmas Eve 100 years ago. But yesterday we all celebrated, those of us who spent some time on KMOX. You know, Jane made an interesting observation, and we should have given you a shout-out. But you have been with me on the roundtable, I mean, probably 14, 15 years at this point.
Yeah.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That's great.
That one of us hasn't killed one another in all that time?
No, I think we were going to kill each other in the beginning, but it sort of worked out.
Since its inception, just about.
It really
Basically, it was not long after.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I have done a version of the roundtable, even when I was in Milwaukee and when I was here in St. Louis previously in 2000 or in 1996. But still, that was crazy when you pointed that out because, that's a long time.
I was astounded. I'm like, wait a minute.
It goes by fast.
We've changed a lot.
Right. I mean, I'm already at 4.5 years. It'll be 5 years in the spring on this station.
Wow. Can you believe it? Has it really?
Yeah. And next year is 20 years for me, Fred. Back in the market.
Congratulations.
20 years
That's
back.
Great.
Because I started 2006 in the winter after I got dismissed from my job in Milwaukee. But that's okay. That was a budget cut situation. So
you mean you didn't deserve it?
I did deserve it because all I was doing was playing golf and going on after baseball games and Monday Night Football. Sometimes I'd have like a 5-minute show after Monday Night Football because the Westwood One postgame was longer than the game itself.
Oh, wow.
And my bosses are like, we're paying him a lot for a part-time job. But, you know, this is a true story. The general manager, John Schweitzer, he was a good guy, a really good friend, too. And he told me after they fired my ass, this is going to be the best thing that ever happened to you. You're not going to look at it that way. I'm like, I'm not going to look at it that way. I got no money. But it was the best thing that ever happened to me because it got my foot in the door at KMOX, and I needed for that to happen. And then I ended up here. So all things worked out. So we're doing a fun live broadcast on Monday. Unfortunately, Fred is taking the week off, so he won't be here, but Sue will be there. Ethan will be there. It's for the weigh-in for Guns N' Hoses. And retired Eureka Fire Chief Greg Brown is back with us this afternoon for a little plug for not only Guns N' Hoses, but for the event on Monday. Hey, Greg, welcome back. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
We're getting excited because we're finally closer to the broadcast. We start on the air from Helen Fitzgerald's at 3 p.m. The actual event starts at 4. So before we get to Guns N' Hoses, tell us what we're going to experience on Monday afternoon, what the audience will hear a little bit.
Okay, what they're going to hear is it's going to be like if you watch on TV when they do weigh-in for like a championship fight. The fighters will get up on the stage. They'll do their weigh-in. You know, they'll have the picture of the two fighters kind of squared off against each other. You'll have people up there talking about the event and what we're there for. You'll have people talking about the history of the event. It's just going to be a great time. It's going to be packed at Helen Fitzgerald's. So there'll be people drinking, eating, having a good time. It's a lot of fun. It's not as much fun as Guns N' Hoses, but it's a good time.
Will you really kind of be like the Don King finger in the middle, and then some of these guys and some of these ladies they'll try to climb over the table and try to get at one another, and you're going to have to separate them, Greg?
No, that's not me. That's Jesse Finney.
Okay.
Jesse Finney will be up there on stage with him, and Steve Holly's the guy behind the whole show, but Jesse will be up on stage with him.
Well, it's going to be a lot of fun. All right, so then Guns N' Hoses, and I still think I have one pair of tickets to give away sometime this afternoon. It is next Wednesday night, the night before Thanksgiving. It's always a special time. You have to speak to the charity because this is all for Backstoppers as well.
It is all for the Backstoppers, and it's first of all, it's going to be the most fun that anybody's ever had on the night before Thanksgiving, bar none. I guarantee it. Especially the people you're giving the tickets to. Because we'll guarantee them they get their money back, everything they paid, only on the ones you gave them to. So, but
that's really nice.
That's very nice. It's nice of you guys to give them out. So, anyhow, so it's it's just an amazing time that you'll have down there. It'll be full of people. It'll be as full as the Enterprise Center can be.
Yep.
Yeah, it'll be sold out. So it will be just packed, and it'll be great. And it'll be a fun night. It's going to be a professional championship fight you see from Las Vegas or any big town around the world where they have these matches. There's all the pomp and circumstance. There's the bell ringing for our fallen heroes from the last year. There's always something special. There's a band. I've seen Santa Claus repel from the ceiling down to the ground down there. Yeah. So there's a lot of fun that's going on, and again, it's all to raise money for the Backstoppers. And the Backstoppers is an amazing organization here in St. Louis. It's been around since 1959, and the Backstoppers take care of the families of our police officers, firefighters, paramedics that are killed in the line of duty. They come in and take care of the families, everything. I mean, it's the least that can be done as far as the community, but we have such a professional organization at the Backstoppers led by Colonel Larry O'Toole. And, before that, for 20 years, it was Colonel Ron Battelle, who was an amazing guy. They're both amazing, but the whole group, they come in, they take care of the family, they pay off all the bills. There's a house bill, there's a car payment. We make sure they got health insurance.
Kids go to school.
They get whatever education they can qualify for. The Backstoppers make sure they have the money to do it. So if you can get yourself into Harvard, they'll take care of it. And
That's
they
amazing.
Stay with them. They stay with the families as long as they're needed. So if the spouse of the fallen hero doesn't get remarried, they're there with them to the end, whatever it takes. I remember a number of years ago, I went to a Backstoppers board meeting, and there was a widow who her husband had been killed in the line of duty back in the 70s, and this was probably 8 or 9 years ago. She needed a new roof on her house. She was in her 80s, still living at home, though, and there's no question, take care of it. Get it done. Whatever it is.
Wow. That's great.
And like I said, health insurance for the families, dependent kids, and until they're 26, whatever it takes. That's an amazing organization that is the Backstoppers, and it's our community. There's 28 counties in the Backstoppers right now, 18 in Missouri and 10 in Illinois. But as a community, all of us stepping up and making sure things like Guns N' Hoses happens. But literally every week, there's something going on somewhere. People helping the Backstoppers.
Absolutely.
If you go to backstoppers.org, it's on their events page. You can actually download an app. I got an app on my phone if I want to know what's going on. You can see what's going on, where's it happening, and it's all across those 28 counties. It's an amazing thing that our St. Louis community does.
Well, it's going to be great, Greg. Thank you so much for the update this afternoon, and we will see you on Monday at Helen Fitzgerald's. It's going to be a great week. I appreciate it.
All right. Appreciate you guys, and we'll see you guys Monday. And then, there still might be a few tickets available. You got a couple, but if you go to stlgunsandhoses.com, you can see what's available, if anything. But by the time next week gets here, it'll be a sellout.
Yep. And I think I do have a few tickets to give away on Monday afternoon at the event as well. We appreciate it. We'll see you on Monday. We got Sue's News on a Friday coming up next.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Not a bad commute. We've got westbound 70, a little bit slow out of downtown, Jennings Station Road, 94, moderate volume 79 out through Wentzville. Eastbound has some slow pockets between Warrenton and Wentzville. 6440, it's the usual volume there, Kings Highway, and then that's in pockets out through 70. And southbound 270, just moderate volume at 6440 down through, it looks better once you get south of 44, so through 44. And 44 looks great out of downtown. 55 just slowing at Bates. No delays if you're headed into Illinois, at least on the bridge downtown. This report brought to you by Point with an E Pest Control. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's Traffic. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Annie here, and I can proudly say no more spiders in my home. I use Point Pest Control 4 times a year, and I haven't seen any, not a single one, since they've been in my home. Mention Annie and get 10% on top of any other special. Point Pest Control, 636-798-0023.
Is your home ready for the holidays? Beat the holiday rush and call our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. Mark Cox here. 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at $139 and take $50 off air duct cleaning. Book online anytime at ZeroResSTL.com.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/radio. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection, plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/radio. See representative for warranty details.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Missouri can count on.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friends Mark and Neil Gelman of eXp Realty. If you need to sell your home to buy a new one, it's never been more important to have an experienced negotiator that you can trust. You need my friends Mark and Neil Gelman on your side. 314-336-1991. Go to thegelmanteam.com.
Hey y'all, this is Maggie Freeling, host of the new podcast, Up and Vanish Weekly. Tune in each week as Payne Lindsay and I are joined by other true crime experts to take a fresh look at some of the most puzzling crimes and shine a spotlight on the cases that have stumped investigators for far too long. So go right now and search Up and Vanish Weekly in your podcast app to follow the show. Listen for free wherever you get your podcasts.
Mark Reardon, Sue Thomas. This is the Mark Reardon Show.
A couple of days ago, Jane, you probably missed this. I came on the air. I had to make a statement at 4:04 just to get ahead of something. It was a crisis communication situation. You know our friends Greg Keller and like Rich Christmer?
Yes.
I had to call them in because I did something deeply, deeply shameful, and I had to get in front of it. You know, you would have advised me to do that as well.
Yes.
Well, a week ago today, Jane, this is so hard for me to talk about. I flipped the Christmas lights on for my wife and daughter to see when they came home from swim practice.
Yeah.
I've kept them on, Jane. I have kept them on. After years of preaching against such nonsense before Thanksgiving, in the spirit of being a kinder, gentler, more holiday full of cheer, Mark Reardon,
So you're
I
not
flipped them on.
Grinching anymore.
No, I'm not. But here's what's funny. Did you know the name?
Yeah, I know. Well, we've got to see how far this really goes.
Oh, come on. I'm full of Christmas cheer.
Yeah, his heart grew like one tiny bit.
Yeah.
Like 1/2 inch, right?
Yeah.
There was
Not
this,
3 size.
No.
There's this classic line. When I used to do the morning show at WTMJ, I worked with a really, really good group of people. Sherry Preston, who's currently the ABC network morning anchor on ABC Radio. And there's a guy by the name of Bob Reardon. What's ironic about this is Bob was just in town with his daughter last week for a wheelchair basketball tournament. But Bob was kind of, believe it or not, you guys know I'm crabby. Bob was the crabbiest of us all, right? And we were in there and we were talking about Christmas. And, I think we kind of made an allusion to him being a little bit more like the Grinch. And his response was, I have more blanking Christmas spirit than all you blankings. And that just became the line that all of us still repeat until this day because it was so funny.
My tree is up. My Christmas lights on the house.
I
They're
think
lit- they're lit.
Alexa and Becky are
Ready.
right now unpacking some stuff from the basement because, look, my kids are coming next week, the grandchild. We're putting Christmas up this weekend.
And you got to do it
it's
up
happening
for the little man.
Oh, we do, for
You got to
sure.
just every piece of
Good
decoration
point.
needs to come out.
It's coming out, Gene, I promise you.
Good.
These allegations are deeply concerning.
Does the president have any comment?
We're not going to comment.
It's not clear messaging.
No.
And now, Sue's News, presented by U.S. Men's Medical Center.
All you really need to do is fix the toilet. Am I right, Fred?
Oh, you got that right.
Well,
Yep.
We
have a plunger nearby.
The
Is it
guest room,
fixed?
no, the guest room toilet, it flushes, but it makes this crazy noise, and I do need to get it fixed, but I haven't taken a step to do that. Look, I don't want to pay a plumber $250 to come over and fix a little piece of infrastructure in a toilet, and I haven't texted the handyman yet.
Okay.
Well, and by the way, I saw the chief, and he said, change your darn smoke detector.
My smoke detectors are out too. Yeah, I know.
He said
I need
change
to
them.
do that.
You're going to
Because
burn.
I
One
tried
way
to
or the
text
other.
Mark. I said, Chief, I don't think you can help him.
You do your thing here, and I'm going to text Phil Handyman, as we call him.
Okay,
And,
if it-
I don't know what his
Wait,
last name
Well,
is. We just
Sue,
call him
does
Phil
he have any
Handyman.
music?
Well,
He's
yeah.
got to be
So
aware
can
of.
you
He's got
text
a job
Phil
here.
in the break?
Get another on-air job.
You just keep me posted. I'll do what I have to. I can multitask.
No,
here.
you really
you
can't.
can't.
You guys have no faith in me whatsoever.
No.
Are you kidding me?
We've been
Give
in
it a
this
try.
room for a long
Give
time.
it a try. Let's see what I can do.
All right. First of all, it is National Red Mitten Day, Jane.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes, and I didn't know.
I didn't
would
either.
have celebrated and brought you one. Fred,
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry I dropped the ball.
Is it one
That's
mitten or
okay.
two?
Well, they only say one, which is why I find it a little
Am
odd.
I missing something? Why red mittens?
I don't know. I
Oh,
didn't go
okay.
in. Sue's News did not care.
Right.
And it's also National Stuffing Day.
Oh.
Are you doing a stuffing, Jane?
Stuffing is my life. No, we're traveling.
Oh, that's
And I'm
right.
hoping that we're going to get, because it's my favorite meal of the year. and
Yeah,
it,
it's so great.
Yes, so stuffing is a big part of my life.
I understand.
That was one of my favorite memories as a child. Every Wednesday night before Thanksgiving, my mom and I would sit down and start ripping up loaves
The
of
bread,
bread
yes.
to make the
Yes.
stuffing. That was so
Fred,
nice.
if
So
you
much
want to
fun.
come over and rip bread, let me know. I could use some help.
It is so nostalgic.
And I did put on X the link to Bess Truman's dressing recipe that I had somebody in History Lulu that gave
Stop.
to me. So it's in the National Archives.
Okay.
Look me up. It's
will.
in there if you want it.
Because I'm a Truman fanatic, too.
And it's in her writing. So it's really, really cool.
And Harry loved her.
And now it's also National Gingerbread Cookie Day. Did you already text Phil Handyman?
Yeah, look, I told you I can
All right.
multitask. I'm just sitting
We're
here waiting
stalling it
patiently
out.
for the music
All
that you
right.
have and for the sound bites. I'm just here at your disposal,
We're just
Sue.
telling stuffing stories
Anything
till
that
you're
I
ready.
can do for you guys, just let me know.
Gosh. All right, on this day in history, in 1975, Queen released its fourth album, A Night at the Opera.
Woo-woo!
Keishi classic here, and your best friend.
It's a great
Or
song.
my best friend, right? You're my best friend. Isn't that the name of it?
That's right.
What else was on this record? Can you
Bohemian
name those?
Rhapsody.
That was on this one. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. There you go.
That's a biggie.
And I just hear the heck out of that. This one I like to hear every now and then.
No, this one's very sweet.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites too, I think.
What were you saying, Fred?
I was going to say, you can't beat Bohemian Rhapsody.
Well,
I love this. Really? You get tired of it?
I just hear it all the I don't know.
got a
I
mooch,
hear
it's
it
got a
more
mooch.
often than this. How about that?
Yeah, I agree.
And then, you guys, it was 49 years ago today, in 1976,
Yes!
when the first Rocky movie opened in New York. Listen, I don't think this could be overblown. It was such a big deal.
It was. I saw that movie in the theater probably 10 times.
Oh,
My
man.
sister saw it 17 times.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
All
No,
at the same theater, Stadium Cinema 1.
Wow.
And the music happens, and you just didn't this song like go to number 1 or something?
I think
Because
it did.
people, yeah,
I think
because
so.
it was just victory. you
I
know?
didn't see it until later.
Really?
I don't
Because
think my mom
your
would
mom
let
wouldn't,
me.
yeah.
But eventually I saw it. It's great.
Yeah.
The
loved
first
it.
one is awesome.
Was that the same thing, Sue, with Jaws?
Yeah, she
They
wouldn't let
you
me
see that either.
Oh, see, my parents took me everywhere. We
Well,
saw
you
all
were
the
the
bad
youngest.
movies.
You were younger.
I was the youngest. Yeah,
and
that's why.
I think that's why. By that, I was the oldest. They were like, let us be cautious.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're screwed.
Uh-huh.
Sorry. The oldest
Yeah.
is really,
That's what
it's
happens.
not good.
I saw some of it. I mean, I was the oldest too, but I don't really think they were monitoring what I was doing. Maybe
Well,
that was.
There
My
is
mom and
that.
dad
I
are
was
listening
happily
right now.
ignored in the 70s.
Well, I understand all of that. But we were going on a beach vacation. Louise Thomas said, nobody's going to Jaws.
Oh,
You know what, though? I did not get in the
Yeah,
ocean
right.
for a very long
See?
time. So
She was right.
That's right. She was correct.
And on this day in history, 33 years ago today, it was 1992 when Adam Sandler sat down and performed the Thanksgiving song.
Oh, underrated.
To eat turkey. Love to eat turkey. I love you.
It is a classic.
Love to eat turkey, 'cause it's good. Love to eat turkey like a good boy should, 'cause it's turkey to eat.
It's just so stupid, right?
It is. It is
That's
brilliant.
Adam Sandler.
And it's not. And then it is followed up by the Hanukkah song.
Yeah.
Which is the second classic.
I always, I'm not going to be here on Wednesday, but I always like to pull out the old WKRP audio.
Oh, the
Yes.
You have to do that on
The turkey
on
drop.
Thursday, right? Yeah, the turkey
Okay.
drop.
That is the best
God
episode.
is my witness. I
Yes.
had no idea that turkeys couldn't fly. All right, I mentioned this yesterday, and we talked about it briefly. The idea that cold weather makes you hungrier. And the site was called Study Finds. They did an article about the ways to fight it. So Fred and I get hungrier when it's cold. We
Yes.
don't. Mark? Yeah,
I do.
I don't
he's
know.
fine.
I like to pack it on.
Yeah,
think
I like
there's
to
something-
too. Thank
There's
you.
something like, primal about it or something.
Yes. Well, they say here's the advice: drink a glass of water 30 minutes before meals. Eat the most high fiber food on your plate first, because it slows down digestion and makes you feel full faster.
Okay.
So, yeah, you
I'll
can
work
wrad
on
all
that.
that down
Yeah.
or just do what you're going to do
Yeah, I'm
and shake off
taking
those
notes.
pounds later. Every year, a company called, now this is a story with an aspect for Mark. Every year, a company called NordPass goes through all the lists of hacked passwords that get leaked on the internet to figure out the most common, easy, and hackable passwords that people are still using.
Oh, yeah.
And once again, the most common of the passwords are...
Well, it's either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 exclamation point,
One,
or
one, one,
10,
one,
9,
one.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, or password 1.
That's right.
Yeah, password 1 exclamation
I thought it was
point.
1111111.
Oh, no. It's admin, password, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That said, there are a few new password trends. Now people are trying things like this, password equivalents, things like secret, code, passcode, passkey, Netflix. What? And sports fanatics are trying, different hobbies and sports teams. But here's where Mark comes in. Swear words have made an appearance.
Excellent.
I have done that. I did that for my employer password one time.
Okay, that's
I
exactly
wanted to
it,
see if they
Jane.
check. I want to see if they check it.
Some people are not in the best mood when they're being forced to change their password.
Correct.
So profanity in passwords is trending.
Like
So-
like FIT.
Right.
I've been known to use that with various other characters
Well,
to make
sure.
it difficult.
So the new trend, we've talked about this before with George Rosenthal, is a phrase as opposed to a word.
Now, the phrase I really like, we're doing
Me
that
too.
Because it's easier to remember.
Yeah.
in several places, and I can remember it, and nobody's going to come
Like,
up with it.
like the help desk doesn't help.
Right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That was a good one.
We have, so like I use this music service, you guys know, Tidal, Tidal. I love it. And there's a family plan like you have. So if everyone's listening on the same account, then your favorites and your playlists all have to be the same. So Becky has her own, and then Alexa has her own. Can't remember what her password is for the life of me right now, and I don't even know how to change it. I know you can do like a change password, but it's become one of those frustrating things, right?
That's how they get you.
Yes.
Yep.
That's the downside. Now we have a story for Fred. A copy of Superman #1 from 1939 in near pristine condition just sold for $9.12 million.
That
Holy
is
cow.
amazing.
Fred missed out. He bid 9, but he got beat by 1.2.
Like $9?
For a while,
Yeah.
I thought I had one of those. I mean, I realized it couldn't be, but then the closer you looked at it, I mean, I had to do a lot of research online
really?
to see that it was just a little bit,
off.
The printing was just a little different than what it should be. So I assumed it was a fake.
Well, that's a record for a comic book, and the previous record holder sold for $6 million. That's a huge jump. And it was also a Superman comic, so that's the big deal. All right, we all know about the annoying 6'7" thing. Carrie Underwood has come up with a strategy to get kids to stop saying it. Every time one of hers says 6'7", she immediately sings 5309 from the Tommy Two-Tone hit 867-5309.
That's funny.
And it's funny, and it drives her kids nuts.
You know what? I'm going to try that. So
Okay,
my daughter even recognized yesterday because I had to put my phone number in for something like at Walgreens or something like that, and it's 5675. She's like, your phone number has 67.
Oh, like, my God.
My
I'm so done with that.
I was going to say, if you don't care, they won't care. All right, here is today's random fact. Mary Steenburgen actually ate spaghetti with maple syrup during the filming of Elf.
Yay!
She took one for the team.
Way to go.
I'm Frank Miller with Your Money Now. Well, investors keeping an eye on the telecom sector today after Verizon's announcement that it was cutting thousands of jobs in its biggest layoff in company history. Verizon says more than 13,000 jobs will be slashed as part of efforts to cut costs and restructure its operations. Now, this comes as Verizon added only 44,000 monthly subscribers in the third quarter. In comparison, T-Mobile added more than 1 million subscribers. And looking ahead to the box office this weekend, Wicked for Good is expected to make one of the biggest box office debuts of the year. The sequel to the film Wicked is looking to bring in some $150 to $180 million. It's looking to topple a Minecraft movie's $160 million debut back in April. The highly anticipated sequel to the 2024 original has been anticipated by fans. However, so far the reviews have been mixed. On Wall Street, stocks finished out the week with some gains. The Dow up nearly 500, the S&P up over 60, while the Nasdaq saw gains of nearly 200. That's Your Money Now.
At Bank of America, we asked our teammates, what makes this company a great place to work?
There's very little that you can't accomplish working for Bank of America.
If you prove yourself, you can try over in a totally new way.
You can learn so much here. You're the owner of your career.
See how our teammates are growing in their careers at bankofamerica.com/great place to work. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, proud to be an equal opportunity employer.
Do you hear that? Asthma triggers are everywhere, from dust mites, pet dander, and pollen, to smog and smoke. An asthma attack can strike anywhere, anytime. Be prepared with quick-acting Primatene Mist. Clinically proven to open airways quickly. It's the #1 FDA-approved asthma inhaler available over the counter. Primatene Mist. Breathe easy again. Use as directed.
License number E2014A.
Hey, it's good to see you.
Lights flickering?
Grasser can fix it.
Breaker keeps tripping?
That's a Grasser job.
Outlet not working?
Grasser makes it right.
Old wiring need a rewire?
Grasser rewires with care.
From little fixes to major fixes.
Even the tricky ones.
We treat your home like our own.
Treat? Did you say treat?
Green is always Grasser at GrasserHomeservices.com.
Annie Fry here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They are the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
Tony La Russa here. Has your loss of energy and weight gain thrown you a curveball in your relationship? If so, go see my friends over at Victory Men's Health. Discreet first-class professionals will help you hit those curves out of the park. VictoryMen'sHealth.com. That's VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
An official message from Medicare.
Medicare plans change from one year to the next. And this year, it's important for you to review your current coverage and compare all your options during Medicare open enrollment. Compare health plans, drug coverage, and costs. See if you can save some money, and don't forget to make sure your drugs are covered. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Visit Medicare.gov or call 1-800-MEDICARE.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
4:33, this portion of the show on a Friday, sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Consistently right.
It's a ritual.
97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative.
All right, let's head to the movies on this Friday afternoon. Paul Hall is going to have some recommendations. One of the big openings, or the big opening, Wicked for Good.
Couldn't be happier.
It's more important than ever that you lift everyone's spirits.
This is, of course, the second of the two-part feature. We had the original that was based on the musical. Last year at this time, it made $850 gazillion or something like that, and they decided to do two parts because they wanted to make another $850 million. Paul Hall from Common Guy Films is here, and you did not get a chance to screen this, did you?
Yeah, they didn't show it to me. I don't know why. Maybe you have some insight on that, because I hear that you, as well as a special guest, went to go see it.
Lex and I went the other night on Tuesday. She arguably liked it much more than I did, but she did agree on this point, and this is just to offer perspective. I'm not coming this from an angle where I don't like musicals. In fact, I thought the first one last year was spectacular. I really did. And
right.
it says a lot, because I actually didn't see that one in the theater. I saw it. I was able to see it, in my home, because we're privileged that way sometimes, Paul. Mm-hmm. But I sat on my couch for 2.5 hours and I never got up. And I'm like, that's pretty unusual for a movie that you're watching at home. The main problem with this one is it just doesn't grab you with that special feature like last year, and the music simply isn't as memorable. We all know, if you've seen the musical before, Popular and some of the other songs, and the way that part one ended was, just magical last year with Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande closing that first part out. The music, Alexa even said, it's not like I'm going to put one of these songs on my playlist or want to listen to it again. Now, she did like it. It runs 2:18. I was rather bored at times. It still has all the color and, the fantasy aspects that you saw in the first one, but I'm not going to lie, I was disappointed by this one, Paul.
Look, a lot of tickets already have been sold, not only for this weekend, but going forward. So if it's something you want to go see, you need to either pre-book your tickets or be prepared to get turned away, possibly, especially in the most popular showtimes. That said, I noticed a lot of screenings that had some space for people that want to go out and see it. And I wonder this, Mark, and I'll ask this question. Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande, their behavior on their press tour, did that at all enter your mind as you were watching this?
No, because I really kind of ignored them. I didn't see what they were doing out there, and I know Cynthia Erivo is Ms. Woke, but I kind of ignored that. Why? Would something have kind of put it in a negative direction?
Yeah, I was just curious if it's something that's affecting people who are on the fence versus the diehard fans already have got tickets for multiple shows. I mean, this is not just now. This will be, they've seen it that 10 times. That amount of times, Jane saw Rocky, or that you saw, things like that. They will have seen this by next week at this time. But I think those people that might be on the fence may have gotten turned off just by some of the over aggressive behavior between the two of them on tour with all the weird stuff going on.
Preaching stuff, is that what they were doing?
they were just hanging all over each other all throughout the press tour. In fact, towards the end of it, one of them came down with COVID, and there was the attack on Ariana, which wasn't really an attack. It was just a over rambunctious fan who has popped up in a number of celeb videos.
I guess I missed a lot of this, yeah.
So, yeah, all kinds of just weird stuff going on up to this point.
If you saw the first movie, you're almost obligated to see this one. It's just not as magical. And I could have watched that first movie again. I never went back and watched it again, but I was a little let down by this one. But I kind of, you set yourself up for that going in on a sequel.
Well, when you go see the show, though, like they split it up the way the show is, right? So
in multiple acts.
Not really.
Oh.
They do to a certain extent, but there's, The Wizard of Oz is based on a book. The book is very political.
Right.
There's a lot of additions to this one to make it 2.5 hours that were not really part of the source material of the musical.
And to stretch it into 5 hours. Yeah.
So, was it a natural breaking point in the film and in the movie compared to the musical? It was, but that break, Act 2 is a little shorter usually on stage, and it's not necessarily that way. Let's see here. You got Rental Family coming out.
The market here isn't the same anymore. It's half the rate, twice the work.
All right, Paul, tell us about this one.
Brendan Fraser is back after his performance in The Whale. I think this is one of his first big outings since then. A counter-programming to Wicked, shall we say, as he plays an American actor in Tokyo. He lands a weird gig. He ends up working for a rental family agency. Basically, people hire actors to come in and either be the best friend, the mourner at the wedding, or mourner at the funeral, or at the wedding, I guess you could say, the special person, the father in some cases. And he's kind of getting through this emotional idea of taking on these roles in real life as an actor and just not getting too close to people. It is really a movie about connections and the connections we have with those we love as well as those we just associate with. Fraser is wonderful. Again, I don't know where the Encino guy went, Encino Man guy from years ago went. He's become a reliable actor in movies that are taking risks. Rental Family is one of those. It's a great counter program. It's something that I think people will enjoy. Unfortunately, probably it'll get run out of theaters quick with Wicked, and you'll find it on a streaming service down the road. But it's definitely worth your hour and 50 minutes or so with it.
Anything else this weekend to recommend?
Sisu, A Road to Revenge is an action, ultra-violent revenge thriller. Lots of blood and guts, lots of getting even with Russians. It really is set in that World War II time frame, and it's something to see. If you like the Kill Bills of the world, check that out. Or go over to Apple TV Plus and check out The Family Plan 2. Now, I don't know. I don't remember where you came down on The Family Plan with Mark Wahlberg and Michelle Monaghan.
I never saw that. I never saw it because I wanted to watch it with Alexa, but I think it was PG-13, so that's why we never pulled the trigger on that one.
And it's not too bad. Neither Family Plan or Family Plan 2 from a standpoint of the 13 angle of it. It's not too awful bad. They just give you enough to kind of get into that level. I like these films. I like this one as well. And I'll tell you what. Seeing Michelle Monaghan in a movie is just, it reminds you of how good she is and how much she can bring to a film. She's never really gotten the credit in some of this stuff. And this is a family comedy, kind of with a little adventure that, in the vein of Spy Kids, I guess you could say. So enjoy The Family Plan 2 over on Apple TV Plus.
Okay, I think you talked about this last week. Jane, I think you wrapped the whole thing. I'm on episode 5 of The Beast in Me with Claire Danes and Matthew Rhys, and I like it. I mean, I think it's Claire Danes doing the same crazy, wacky,
I mean, is it? I was like,
nutty
oh my
person
gosh.
she played in Homeland, right?
Yeah, the same lip quivering, the whole 9 yards.
Oh, she's good at that.
But I still liked it.
Matthew Rhys, or Rhys, how do we say that? We say Rhys, don't we?
I think it's Rhys,
who plays Niall Jarvis, who's this the neighbor that moves in next to Agatha Aggie Wiggs, who's an author who had a successful book, but she's really struggling for her next project. And this guy who's accused of killing his wife, or his wife disappears under unusual circumstances, moves in next door. And it takes some very, very strange turns. I like it. I think Matthew Rhys is maybe the reason that I like it so much, because he's spectacular in here.
Is good.
I've been watching, and we've talked quite about it Fred and I have, and I'm captivated by it. I'm going to finish it this weekend, The American Revolution on PBS. Now, I say this with a bit of a caveat because I know how woke Ken Burns is, and I know that there's certainly some things that happen in the first 2 episodes that might be considered a little bit more political than some of the other storytelling. But I think it's excellent. It's almost required watching as an American because you need to know what happened 250 years ago and how this country was born and how big of a role these rebels and these patriots led under George Washington really were, and some of the stories that you've probably forgotten about or never knew as a kid or maybe even in college will just blow you away when you hear some of the particulars. I just sit there, Jane, with my mouth and my jaw open because I'm like, how did you take 60-ton cannons, 825 miles, and then load them up and you do it and you're knocking down these British ships with thousands of soldiers? We should never won the Revolutionary War. It is a miracle. It really is amazing.
Well, and I'm way into Death by Lightning. I'm almost done.
Okay, and I loved it. And one of the things about Death by Lightning, that's the story of the assassination, well, the near assassination of James Garfield. But one of the things I loved about that is it's the opposite of Wicked, where they drag it out and they should have just done one movie. But again, I get the financials in Hollywood, but that's just 4 episodes.
It is.
A nice, clean, tidy 4 episodes.
It is. And you know, of course, there's a lot more to the story, and people will complain if certain details are left out. But the guy who plays the assassin, oh my gosh, he was in Succession.
Yeah, he's really good.
He was in Spook, which is, MI5. I mean, great show. He's a great actor. He is phenomenal. And I got to tell you, the guy playing Garfield, he is a phenomenal actor.
That's Michael Shannon.
Yes.
Yeah, he's one of the best.
He is incredible. And I don't know.
Don't you want to see
I felt patriotic.
Yes. Well, and you'll feel that way when you watch the American Revolution. I mean, there's so many moments where I feel so proud of some of the accomplishments. And obviously the stain of slavery is in the background, and we get that. But that's part of the evolution of our very, very young country.
Yes.
Now I want to see the movie about Chester Arthur, don't you?
Absolutely, because they make him look like
well, he's a buffoon, I guess.
I mean, yeah. And the New York Port Authority, and you're like, oh, that's like a hotbed of, corruption.
So Nick Offerman plays Chester Arthur, but
he's great.
Oh, he's awesome. True form to history, I think he was kind of a buffoon, but then he ended up doing some things that surprised some people as well.
And he sort of, I think Garfield won him over because I think Garfield was, I don't know, it seemed like they make him seem very, I don't want to say naive, but very principled.
Hey, since we're not going to visit next week, Paul, let me ask you about this. I'm going to go see Zootopia 2 tomorrow. I'm very excited about Zootopia 2 because I loved the first one. It opens next Wednesday. I mean, that first movie was out, I think, more than 10 years ago, so it'd be a good thing this weekend to go back and watch it. But it is one of the more clever Disney traditional, it's not Pixar, traditional animated movies that they've done, maybe one of the best in the last decade, for sure.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, Shakira had a new song in that. I had posted that link up on my site at comguy.com earlier this week as they dropped that in preparation for Zootopia 2. It just looks like it's going to be such a fun next week or two here in the movies because you've got a movie called Eternity coming out next week that I really like a lot. And the one thing I have to mention to all the listeners, we talk every year right around Thanksgiving. This is the time if you're looking for a streaming service. They are offering deals out the wazoo to go ahead and get that 6 months of something at a really discounted price. I've been seeing $2.99, $5.99 deals. So when if you've heard us talking about something on a certain streaming service, keep your eye out online. There are a million different offers through different providers to get you all the programming you're looking for.
I hope my kids are listening because whenever I say, hey, did you watch this on Netflix? They say, I don't have Netflix anymore because we can't use your account. Like, buck up, kiddos. Paul, tell folks where they can find your reviews.
CommonGuy.com.
We'll talk in 2 weeks.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Not a bad commute right now. If you are leaving the office, we look pretty good. On westbound 70 out of downtown. A little bit of volume in both directions at Jennings Station Road, of course. And then things open up a little bit slow, 79 in pockets out through Wentzville. Now eastbound is slowing. It's just there at 141. And westbound 6440. It's a slow go approaching Hampton in pockets on out through the 70 split. Eastbound slowing at Timberlake Manor and at Mason and at 170. Southbound 270, moderate volume in pockets from Olive down through Gravois. And if you're headed into Illinois, we actually look good on the bridges downtown. This report brought to you by Barron Mirror Glass and Door. Simply the finest when it comes to mirror glass and shower doors. You can't find better quality, prices, or service. They have the basics all the way up to the elite. Barron Mirror Glass and Door can't be beat. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. Join us on Monday, November 24th at Helen Fitzgerald starting at 3 for the official Guns N' Hoses weigh-in. You could win tickets, meet the fighters, and hang out with us. Details at 971talk.com/events.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Is your home, business, or church looking tired, chalky, or in need of curb appeal? Go Rhino. Tired of painting year after year? Go Rhino. Our unique 3M ceramic technology is perfect for brick, stucco, aluminum, steel, color lock masonite, and more. It's backed by our 25-year transferable warranty to not chip, crack, or peel. Great if you're staying, and even better if you're selling. Our ceramic coating allows you to maintain all of your architectural features. The decision to do vinyl will leave your home looking like a plastic moldy box. With Rhino Shield, in 15 years, your home will still have that, wow, it looks like you just got it painted. We've done large condo complexes, parking garages, pole barns, and commercial strip malls. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. Evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
No paint, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Swapping out your tires? There's nothing like it. With eBay, you can find the feel you're looking for, from smooth highway rides to grip for rough terrain. Get all the tires you need at prices you'll love. eBay, things people love.
This is the Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Right to Frank Cusimano on this Friday afternoon. Let's start with the Mizzou-Oklahoma game in Norman tomorrow. And the big question would be, who is going to be the Missouri quarterback, Frank?
Well, there is a report out about 3 hours ago is that Bo Pribula is not only going to play in the game, he's going to start the game.
Wow.
So that's what Pete Thamel, who really is a well-connected journalist. Nobody else has reported this at all. But, I mean, he did look really good running the sprints on Saturday before the game. And if you could ever use them, it's going to be this week against one of the great defenses in all of college football in the Oklahoma Sooners.
Well, they did what they had to last weekend against Mississippi State. You still have the game against Arkansas. One of these two games you might lose, but some of us were concerned you'd lose out after Pribula, goes out and gets injured. Nothing against Zollers, but it's a lot to ask of him. So that's good. I think in that environment in Norman, you're going to need someone with a little bit more experience. So that may offer an opportunity to pull the upset.
Yeah, you're going to need his legs and his athleticism against that really athletic Oklahoma defense. And, Mark, just to be optimistic for just a moment, Oklahoma's offense is miserable. It really is bad. Ever since McTeer got injured, he hasn't been the same. Now, maybe he gets healthy tomorrow. And they start two true freshmen at the offensive tackle position. And, Mark, you know better than anybody, that's Mizzou's biggest strength, the defensive end position with Wilson and Young. So I don't anticipate a big scoring game, and I think Mizzou's defense can defenses travel well in college football.
Should we talk about the St. Louis Blues right now, or you want to skip over on that one?
No, we can talk about it. It's like it's unbelievable. They're now 0-6 when the game goes to overtime, and that's unbelievable. They've lost 5 games this year with 2-goal leads. That's unbelievable too. They just find a way to lose. When you're up 2-0,
they say sometimes the 2-goal lead's the most dangerous thing, but at least once in a while, get it to 3 goals and then end the freaking game. And they just can't do that.
I was watching the 3-on-3. By the way, I was just telling the gang in here, I thought the football game in much of the first half last night, the Monday night game or the Thursday night game, was kind of boring. But it ended up being very exciting. But then I turned the Blues on because I had, I get my Blues and Cardinals through the Amazon app, so it was real easy. And I tuned in right when they were going into overtime. And I love the 3-on-3 overtime. It's exciting. But they scored. I think the Blues lost it with like less than a minute to go before the shootout, right?
Yeah, they did. And it seems like that happens every time, too. Yeah. And I'm with you on the 3-on-3 because, hockey is so unbelievable when you think these guys are on blades and still maneuvering their sticks. And then with that 3-on-3, it just allows for the athleticism and the elegance and just it's almost poetry. I just love watching.
It's a lot of fun. It really is. All right, what do you got coming up on Sunday night?
Sunday night, we have an interesting show lined up. Dr. Patrick Risch is going to be in studio to talk about what gambling is going to mean to people in St. Louis because it's going to officially be legal December 1st. We're also going to talk with the first female umpire in the history of Major League Baseball, Jen Powell, and a look at a Billiken legend, Harry Rogers, one of their great players of all time, and it's kind of a where are they now?
Hey, by the way, Mizzou basketball is 4-0 right now, so they're doing what they have to do against, and they're smoking these teams. I mean, they beat South Dakota 102-68 last night, didn't they?
They did, and, Michael Porter's little brother went 9 for 9 from the field and looked really good last night. And they're not beating anybody, but they're looking impressive, and Mark Mitchell looks great, too, and Anthony Robinson looks sensational.
But, they're not beating anyone, but that's why you should be smoking them, right? And they are.
Yeah,
you're obviously SEMO got a little too close for comfort a week ago, but for the most part, they're taking care of business with double-digit leads.
Yeah, and they pounded Minnesota too. But now they're going to face non-conference Illinois, Kansas, and Notre Dame.
Yeah.
So they'll be tested. I don't mind these games. These teams, like last night, they get a check for $100,000 and Mizzou gets a victory.
The bragging rights game, by the way, is on December 22nd at 7 p.m. I like the fact that they're moving it again. So they used to, last couple of years, didn't they do it on a Sunday during NFL football?
Yeah.
They did.
I didn't like that.
Mistake.
I hated it.
Yeah.
I'm going this year because they put it back on a Monday night. Frank, have a great weekend.
Okay, guys, take care.
Take care. That's Frank Cusimano from KSDK. Jane, you have a great weekend, too. And
I will.
I must say, have a nice birthday. We're off next week on Thursday and Friday because of the holidays, so we won't have another roundtable for a couple of weeks. But your birthday is the day before Thanksgiving. It's always right around Thanksgiving, so happy birthday.
Thank you.
We're both at
I'm
the
very
point where we
young.
do not mention any numbers anymore. I don't mention numbers.
I'm 29.
You don't, exactly.
All anyone knows is you're older. That's all anyone knows.
6 months. By 6
Well,
months.
it still counts.
It does count.
Thank you, Sue.
So will you be around? I have Idris, the grandson, coming in. Are you going to be out of
Is he
town,
gonna
or
be
can
there
I
for- well, I'm
drop
getting
by
back
for a
on
visit?
Friday.
Okay, they're leaving on Friday, but we'll see.
Yeah, because he is so cute. I can't even stand
He's
it.
got the new hairstyle. I put that up on the
I mean,
Instagram.
he
Very
is
good.
styling and profiling.
Very handsome. All the looks come from Grandpa. You know that, right?
No,
That's what you're seeing.
I would have to say no to that.
Whatever. All right. Thanks, Duker. We'll see you.
All right,
Say
bye, guys.
our best
Bye.
to your husband, Joe, as well. All right, Sue, we're going to wrap up things in fine fashion for the next hour. I have the governor of Missouri, Mike Kehoe, is going to check in. The story from this week is that he is moving forward with something he certainly campaigned on, which is possibly getting rid of the state income tax. Mark, there's a guy on the guest sheet, Mark COX. Mark, do you know?
Oh, yeah, Cox.
Oh, that guy. Is the guy from the morning show?
Yeah, that's him.
He's doing something fun with the responders, with the responder rescue raffle that he always does. So we're going to promote that. And Dan O'Neill, legendary local sports writer and author. And he left me so confused, I must tell you, because he's got a children's book out called The Day Avery Rose Lost Her Nose. Dan's usually doing books on the Cardinals and on the Blues. This is something a little different, but we'll also talk some sports.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Westbound 6440, a slow go Kings Highway in pockets. Really all the way out through 70, but it's not bad. And 70 is slowing in both directions at Jennings Station Road. Eastbound slowing again at 270. Westbound slows at K. And then out at Wentzville. We still have moderate volume eastbound 70, east of Warrenton, through Wentzville. Southbound 170, a slow go at 64. 270 southbound is mainly moderate volume. That stretches from Olive down through Doherty Ferry, a little bit slow at Gravois. Then there was an accident reported near 21. 55 isn't bad, and there's some volume westbound on the Poplar Street Bridge. This report brought to you by Jerry Kelly, heating, air conditioning, electrical, and plumbing. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
My best friend Jenny came over for coffee, said it's cold enough in here to play hockey. Well, my furnace broken, it's already late. Call Jerry Kelly because they're open till 8, jerrykelly.com. They're fast and they're good and they got it going on, Jerry Kelly.
Now, we know to save money for retirement, but if you're like me, you wake up one day and you think, wait a minute, this is not as far off as it used to be. It's getting close enough that I really need to have a handle on how things work here. Does what I have, is that going to be enough to make it through retirement? And I don't know how you're supposed to know that unless you sit down with a professional. And financial and tax architects have been helping St. Louisans for years do this. What they do is teach you a little bit about how things work. And I think that's so smart, because if you as a consumer or a customer kind of have an understanding of how things work, then you're going to have a better meeting with them when you sit down to figure out a plan for yourself. They will customize one for you and your situation. But first, go to a class. It's free. 314-888-5101, 314-888-5101. Start there and feel better about retirement.
Governor Kehoe is on deck right after Fox News, coming up on 97.1 FM Talk.
Great news. Corel Roofing is going to partner with Sergeant Sparkles to install Christmas lighting on your home this year. Mark Cox here. Who better to get up on your roof to install lights than a roofing company? But wait, there's more. While they're up there, if they see some minor damage or an issue that needs attention, they're going to do that minor repair at no charge to get you through the winter. That provides pretty amazing value to get a small problem fixed at no charge while you get ready for the Christmas season. Now's also a good time for that full roof inspection. If you didn't get around to getting your roof inspected after the storms earlier this year, this is the time to schedule that. Even if the weather's too cold to have the roof replaced, you will be first on the list when warmer weather comes around in early spring. Call Curtis at Corel Roofing. Schedule your Christmas light installation and your roof inspection right now. That's 314-222-9529 or CorelRoofingCo.com.
We, without hesitation, recommend that anybody work with ThrottleNet. The experience will be as good as it's been for us, for anybody, because you'll get a true partnership and you'll be able to rest easy that you're going to get the service that you need, while they're also doing all those things that you don't want to have to think about, that you don't want to have to worry about. They're always doing that in the background for you.
Don't wait for your next IT crisis. If your business depends on technology, you need a partner that's got your back. Contact ThrottleNet.com to get a free IT evaluation and see how we can support your IT everything.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
Agreeing to work together for the good of the city. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. After months of name-calling, President Trump sat down at the White House with New York City Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani.
Previous insults and threats of withholding funding were all forgotten as President Trump welcomed New York City Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani to the Oval Office.
I feel very confident that he can do a very good job. I think he is going to surprise some conservative people, actually.
Mamdani, a Democratic socialist, says his campaign won over supporters of President Trump's in New York by talking about the same concerns as the president.
Cost of living, cost of living, cost of living. And they spoke about the cost of groceries, the cost of rent, the cost of Con Ed, the cost of childcare.
President Trump says he and Mamdani also discussed public safety and building more housing.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. After the meeting, the president was asked about the peace plan between Ukraine and Russia.
We have a way of getting peace, or we think we have a way of getting peace. He's going to have to approve
The
it.
deal calls for Ukraine to cede territory and cut its military. President Volodymyr Zelensky says Ukraine faces a stark choice between standing up for its sovereignty and preserving the American support it needs. Mississippi Senator Roger Wicker, the chair of the Senate Armed Services Committee, said in a statement this so-called peace plan has real problems. And he writes he's highly skeptical it will achieve peace. The NCAA says athletes and athletic department staff will not be allowed to bet on professional sports after leadership voted to rescind a rule change that would have permitted those bets. The NCAA announced 2 weeks ago was revoking the eligibility of 6 men's basketball players over allegations of sports betting. Wall Street wild swings for stocks, but the major indexes ended the day in positive territory. The Dow gained 493, the Nasdaq added 195. America is listening to Fox News.
Hey, listen to this. All I needed was a new starter. Got a great deal on eBay. Did it myself.
Yeah, that's cool. But how about the soft purr of an upgraded exhaust when it fits just right?
For me, it's the little things, like these new windshield wipers from eBay I installed.
From small fixes to big upgrades, eBay has all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Still watching little pockets of showers and thunder showers up until about 9 o'clock this evening. Certainly not for everybody, but they are around 45. Saturday, we're going to wake up to clouds, kind of a gloomy start, but skies will go partly sunny as we work our way through the day. 58 Saturday night, clear and a chilly 42. Sunday, lots of sunshine, 64. Rain developing Monday afternoon. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
In sitcoms, when someone has a problem, they just blurt it out and move on.
Well, I lost my job and my parakeet is missing. How was your day?
But the real world is different. Managing life's challenges can be overwhelming. So, what do? We get support. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have mental health resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. See how much further you can go when you take care of your mental health.
This hour of the Mark Reardon Show is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Your trees deserve the best care. Call Gamma Tree Experts. This is the Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
You know, Sue, I was joking and I was being honest that I flipped the Christmas lights early this year, and I'm comfortable with that decision. But it's amazing how many other people have done it, not just in my neighborhood.
Oh, it's a thing.
Yeah, it really, and you know, I think we just need it. I think post-pandemic, my views on some of this changed, and I was always joking. It was like my standard line was, if you flip those lights on before the night before Thanksgiving, there should be a little prison time, at least a fine involved.
Wow.
Right? Obviously, that was satirical, and I was joking. But as I get a little older, I love Christmas, and I love lights, and I love the decorations. We're in the process.
Happiness.
Yeah, my wife and daughter are getting going on setting up Christmas this weekend because we have a lot of work to do with Aiden, my son who lives in Chicago, will be here on Sunday, and then Evan and my grandson and Evan's girlfriend Natalie will be here on Monday. So we have a lot.
That's great.
A lot of food to prepare, a lot of decorations to get up. Now, when I did this big confession the other night, you remember what happened? Was it Tuesday or Wednesday?
I don't remember.
Well, I did it. I tried to. You know, sometimes I try to entertain Sue, as you know, in a somewhat comical way. So what happened was I came on the air on Tuesday. I think it was Tuesday, and I said, "Look, I have an announcement. I got to get in front of something." You know, my crisis communication folks said, "Mark, if you don't admit this, then maybe the rest of the media will pick up on it. You don't want that, right? Because that reflects poorly on me." So then I come on at 4, and the joke was, ha, ha, ha. It's just the Christmas lights topic, right? Well, the goal was to hook people in a casual way. So I get a message from someone named Joy, and Joy was the girlfriend of Tom West. I don't know if you knew Tom. Tom was on The Point, and he was a very, very popular guy on their morning show. And the reason, and it's funny because I think I'd only maybe met him or exchanged messages with him once or twice. His father, also Tom West, worked with my father in the insurance industry.
Oh, that's interesting.
So when my dad moved back, and his dad Tom knew that I was a radio guy, and then they had kind of communicated, "Hey, my son's a radio guy too."
That's nice.
And I think he was super talented. He passed away very, very young several years ago. But Joy was his girlfriend, I think is what I'm getting right. So she writes and says, "Dear Mark, one time a gazillion years ago, I DM'd you." Annoyed by something you said, which is pretty typical, right?
Yeah.
Most people do that. You knew my Tom West, sad side. I think your family's had a connection. I just explained that. Anyhow, my mom is a huge fan of your show, always uses your sponsors. Thank you, Mom. I appreciate it. She says, now, Mom came rushing into our house at 4 p.m. saying Mark has an announcement that he's ashamed of at 4:04. Quick, turn on the app. With a raised eyebrow, Joy says, I said, Mom, he's got a hook in your mouth. But go ahead, prove me wrong. Well, you owe my mom those 4 minutes that she'll never get back. But that was the goal. And thank you, Mom, for falling for it. And thank you, Joy, for writing. I'm glad that this time I didn't say something that annoyed you. But yeah, I thought that was a pretty funny story. So every once in a while when you come up with a concept for a bit, Sue, and
Everybody in the studio rolls their eyes, but somebody buys it.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. I give it my best shot, and you guys kind of see it coming and everything. But it is funny that I will say things sometimes, and I got a couple other messages from people because they heard me do the setup, and they didn't know what it was, and they couldn't listen to 4, and they were worried.
It's like War of the Worlds, Mark. It's the same thing.
But there are things. What's funny is there are things that I clearly say with satirical or comedic intent, and some people still don't get that, And I know that doesn't always translate. Like on Twitter, you can't always do the tone thing, so sometimes people misinterpret.
But in this case, you were, fairly
well, in this case,
serious.
what I'm trying to say is I was a comedic genius and someone fell for it, is what I'm basically saying. Hey, Mark Cox is coming on in just a little bit to talk about something that he's doing with his Responder Rescue Raffle. Dan O'Neill in the studio. Dan wrote at the Post-Dispatch for many years. He's a local author and sports writer. He's got a children's book out called The Day Avery Rose Lost Her Nose, and we're going to talk about that. Plus, I'll have an audio cut of the day. But the governor of the state of Missouri, Mike Kehoe, has checked in with us this afternoon. Hello, Governor. How are you?
Doing well, Mark. It's always good to join you and our hometown friends there in St. Louis.
Did I see that you were at work, hard at work yesterday, handing out some Thanksgiving meals in Jefferson City?
Yeah, Claudia, my wife, and several of our folks around the mansion had an idea to start a kind of a spin-off of the mansion called Mansion on a Mission. And we're using some resources, a lot of donated items from our pork producers, turkey producers, and dairy producers that allowed us to put together 100 meals for some folks who really need it in the Jefferson City area. And we'll be doing that Mansion on a Mission probably once a month. We're going to be in St. Louis before Christmas doing the same thing up in North City. We're going to start trying to do something like that every month to kind of bring the mansion to the people.
Since you mentioned some things related to farmers, let me ask you about agriculture in Missouri. There was a piece that was in the Wall Street Journal a couple of weeks ago on Halloween from a farmer who represents a big farming group. I've heard from some farmers here in Missouri. They're not happy with some of the things that are happening, in particular with the soybean crops. And if they, kind of look at what they were getting compared to previous years, it's really way, way down, and it's a crisis. So when it comes to President Trump's policies related to agriculture, do you have a concern? Are the farmers of Missouri sending you any kind of message right now, Governor?
Yeah, the livestock farmers, the markets have been a little bit more stable. I'm a cattle producer myself, as you know. It's our row crop farmers, specifically down in the Delta area where they do not have a lot of livestock, soybean, corn, cotton, rice, etc. Soybeans are our number one export for the state of Missouri, so that's always something we keep a very close eye on. Input costs are very high. That's been driving the cost of producing the crop up substantially. And then, of course, the president has been renegotiating some of these deals. Now, since a lot of that broke, he's made an incredible deal with China that's really put a little bit of relief into the soybean market. So we're optimistic that as the president negotiates these deals, and I know it gets a little bit stressful for some of our Missouri family farms to go through this. But at the other end, I believe we'll be in a much better position for the long term for our agricultural markets.
Yeah, because the guy that wrote that piece, he said, using the average soybean yield of 55 bushels per acre on my farm when I budgeted for this year's crop, I couldn't break even at almost $11 a bushel when planting, and now prices are almost $2 less, and yields are average or below average. So that's the number that he put in there was $9 billion loss for farmers across the country. And again, I've heard from farmers here in Missouri that have these concerns. So hopefully some of this stuff is going to even off a little bit.
It is, and our farm families are resilient. I would tell you that even the cattle producers, as I mentioned, the market's really good right now, but we went through several years where we were getting our brains beat out, literally. So I especially have it in my heart for our row crop farmers. We're doing everything we can. Secretary Rollins, which is our USDA secretary, has been to Missouri more times than any other state since she's been secretary. So we have a great relationship with her, and we're certainly trying to work through the best deals that we can have for the long-term productivity of our family farms.
I like to say the only real work I ever did, Governor, was when I walked soybean fields for 2 summers in the late 1970s up near Aurora, Illinois. And most people don't even know what that means because, Monsanto and chemicals took the weeds out of the soybean fields, but you'd take 4 rows with a hoe, you'd walk all the way down, you'd get dew all over your shorts, you'd walk it again, you'd pull out the weeds. Again, I've never worked that hard since then.
Mark, you have something in common with my wife. Her family farm was up in northern Illinois, and she hoed beans, exactly what you said. They walked up and down the roads with a hose as a kid and got those weeds out of there. And I've heard those stories many a times from her and her family.
I never detasseled corn, but I will tell you this. Those 2 years, those summers, it was my mom's aunt and uncle, and it was a great experience. It really, I wish every kid could have, some experience. It gave me a little bit of a foundation and an understanding of what, the folks in the agricultural world really have to go through. And I learned about subsidies way back then when I was 12 and 13 years old. I'll tell you that, too.
I wish every kid could work a little bit on the farm, whether it's hauling hay, hoeing beans, helping work cattle. It would really do good for them to understand that farming's not easy. It's a 24/7, 365-day-a-year job. And when things happen, you got to fix it, take care of it right now. You don't get to go think about it or have a meeting. And so agriculture really does teach, especially young people, a lot about responsibilities.
Governor Mike Kehoe is with us this afternoon. All right, the income tax plan. Obviously, there have been Republicans in the Senate in particular, both sides, that have been interested in getting rid of Missouri's income tax plan. How realistic is that? And then, the other thing that I always like to point out here is that we're not going to, in theory, nothing is being proposed to just knock it out over the course of 1 year. There would be a phase-out involved, correct?
Right. I ran on this because I heard from Missourians putting more money in their pocket, letting Missourians spend their money is always going to be better than any government official, including me, can do. You don't want bureaucrats spending your hard-earned dollars. So our idea is to phase out the income tax. And you're right. I've always said it won't be a light switch. It won't happen overnight. We'll have a responsible plan where we don't defund essential services such as education, public service, and public safety. We'll have a phase-out plan to where we can get to zero on the income tax. I think Missourians are always going to be better, again, keeping that hard-earned money in their pockets. But we'll be unveiling all the details of our plan in the next 30 days. And we look forward to working it through the legislature this year.
I know that you're not getting all the details, but don't you have to somehow get, because the other side will say, how are you going to pay for all this? Do you have to have another revenue source?
Yeah, and that's a fair question. You do. But let me just say, we've been cutting income tax in this state for the last 5 or 6 years through triggers from 6% down to 4.7%. And we've just done it by managing government, making sure it works within its means, and by giving Missourians their money back. So it's a balance of a couple of different tools that you'll see. But at the end of the day, I think that we'll have a good proposal to put forward, and hope the legislature can work it through.
Any updates? I saw the mayor, Kara Spencer, yesterday, actually. We talked a little bit about the tornado recovery. I hadn't seen her in a while. You have any updates on that, in where that is progressing in North County, North City?
We've actually put a person in at the cabinet level for us that's directly working with SEMA, our state emergency management, FEMA, our federal emergency management, and the mayor's team. The mayor and her team has done a great job. We're working through all that right now. I would tell St. Louisans who are listening or who know, We've already begun the process. The city has taken this up and really gotten their hands around what we call the right of entry phase, where folks are actively, as we speak, going up and down the damaged areas, making sure they can have right of entry permission. That's very important as our contractor partners that will eventually award a bid to come in to clean some of those areas up. So that process is going. It takes longer than everybody wants it to, including me. But we're gonna get that in going as quick as we can, and I think you'll see a much better neighborhood in the north side of St. Louis come out because of it.
Let me make you mentioned, progress. Let me just say this. I don't often say positive things about government, contracts and stuff, but I've been on I-70 quite a bit to Columbia for some Mizzou games. They didn't all turn out that well, but man, there is a lot of progress being made on that I-70 project. I know there's a long way to go, but you can see it every week that they're making progress.
Oh, yeah, that's what we used, a tool called Design Build. The legislature passed a couple of years ago. It literally lets contractors and professionals who know how to build highways come to the Department of Transportation and say, you want to get this done and you want to spend X amount of money. Here's the fastest way we can do it for the best quality with the least traffic interruption. And it really lets the professional sector in almost like a public-private partnership type conversation. And that's what we've used. We've used those Design Build projects and that tool to award those teams for various sections up and down 70. They're doing a great job, and all that is going to improve the traffic, and all of those earnings of all those workers are going to improve our economy. At the end of the day, when that's done, it's going to be a fantastic corridor for the state.
Yeah, I'm blown away by how far they've gotten. I really am. Well, Governor, thanks for jumping on here with me tonight. You have a great Thanksgiving with the family.
All right, buddy. You and your listeners the same. I'm grateful for what St. Louis does for me.
Thank you, Mike. Take care. That is the governor, Mike Kehoe, with us this afternoon. And Sue, you haven't really, because I was mentioning I've gone to 3 football games and also I went deer hunting last weekend. So I've had 4 trips to mid-Missouri over the course of the last 3 months.
Yeah.
And I hadn't taken a trip since the early spring. It might have been before I went to Greece. Anyway, even just going 4 out of the last 7 or 8 weeks, the progress that they're making, there's 2 areas. One is the 6440 Lake St. Louis area, which is different than the 70 project. But when you go from, whether it's Wentzville or all the way into mid-Missouri, there's a section that they started with that's closer to Columbia. And for whatever reason, I'm going to find out the reason for this, they start in the middle, right? So all the new concrete in the lanes are in the middle, and then they narrow down the lanes. Like when I was going through there last Friday night heading to deer camp, they had some of the lanes down to 1 because they're doing the work at night. But they also have the surface elevated by, I'd say it's a good foot off of where the current pavement is for I-70. There's got to be an engineering reason why they're doing that. But my point overall is, even though this is a project, I think it's not even going to be done till maybe 2028, they're making a lot of progress.
Oh, that's great. They say, or AI does, which never lies, raising sections of the road allows for construction of new, wider lanes while keeping traffic flowing. And the overall project aims to improve safety and efficiency and blah, blah.
Look how quickly we can find answers.
Yeah.
I was just going to engineer or email my old neighbor who was an engineer on the project, but it's just encouraging because, Sue, it's not like I've never complained about the road project by my house, which no work has been completed, and it's driving all of us crazy, the Sillsboro Road thing that Valley Park has screwed up. But in this situation, it's the opposite. Like, I made the mistake last night. I drove down that stupid road last night, and I looked at it because November 30th is when it's supposed to be back open. We'd be lucky if it's open by April 30th, the way it looks right now.
Oh, my gosh.
So you go to I-70, and you're like, well, they're actually getting some stuff done.
Yeah, it'll be nice to have 3 lanes in both directions. That's huge.
I think in the end, it is definitely going to work out. And even if they can fix the stupid thing in Wentzville with that big S-curve. I know Steve Ellman talks about that all the time. Yeah, all right, we're coming back. We have Mark Cox making an appearance.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Accident westbound 5564 just past the King Bridge split, and this is creating a jam back to 203. And eastbound, if you're headed into Illinois, coming off the Poplar, a report of an accident there. Accident reported on the Missouri side. And this is westbound 44, really close to the Poplar Street Bridge. A jam behind it. 70 westbound slow pockets, mainly from Jennings Station Road on out through Wentzville. Eastbound, it's a slow go at 141. Westbound 6440, it's Hampton. And we've got eastbound lined up east of Lindbergh through Big Bend. Southbound 270, moderate volume. Mainly from Olive in pockets, but it's down through 21. This report brought to you by Aspen Contracting. In fact, Aspen Contracting is roofsbyaspen.com. If your siding is dragging down your home's curb appeal, they can transform your house with new siding, fast, efficient, and built to last. Don't settle for an eyesore. Call Aspen today for your free siding inspection. 636-465-1696. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
If your kitchen's not even functional and you can't stand the look of your bathroom, stop just living around the problem. Let Lakeside Renovation and Design help you love your home again. From spa-like bathrooms to these beautiful, functional, custom kitchens to a finished basement, their in-house team over there at Lakeside, they're going to help bring any vision you have to life. They're going to walk you through every step of the process, the planning, the permits, all the things we don't like to do. They take care of it. You just have to dream. And they have financing options like 0 payments, 0% interest for 24 months. Schedule your free consultation today. It's lakesiderd.com.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on.
If you are facing divorce, contact Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
Fast-paced, fact-based, and never boring. This is the Mark Reardon Show.
Hey, please join us on Monday afternoon as we do the weigh-in for Guns N' Hoses live at Helen Fitzgerald's. We're going to do the whole show there starting at 3 on Monday. The weigh-in officially starts at 4 o'clock. The event, of course, is on Wednesday, Guns N' Hoses, and it's all for backstoppers. If you're call number 4 on the contest line right now, I got a pair of tickets for Guns N' Hoses, 314-241-9797. You're a winner from 97.1 FM Talk. You'll go to Guns N' Hoses next Wednesday night, brought to you by Backstoppers, and we're very excited about it. Mark Cox is with me. I know that he's been a part of the promotion of this event. You're also doing something a little bit on your own as well, as you often do with Responder Rescue. How are you this afternoon? Are you up from your nap?
Hey, I am. Thank you, Mark. I did get a nap this afternoon as I try to recover from getting up at 3 a.m. every day. I'm telling you, it's killer.
Fridays were, when I did mornings in Milwaukee, I would try to do a 3-hour nap on Friday afternoon. That always didn't work, but man, I tried so hard just to get the weekend set that way, because otherwise it's a challenge.
Well, it is. And of course, I'm going to be there at your live broadcast on Monday, since we're the official radio station of Guns N' Hoses. And I'm excited about that because I'm going to get to participate a little bit on that this year on Wednesday night in the ring, so I am excited about that. Not boxing.
But what's your role? What are you going to do?
So I'll be interviewing on the pre-television side of it, because Channel 2 cuts in at 6:30 and starts televising it. Before it gets to that, the first 4 or 5 rounds that happen, fights, I'll be in the ring interviewing the winner, and I'll get to introduce Jackie Smith when he sings Danny Boy and all that good stuff. So it ought to be a lot of fun.
Oh my goodness, I didn't know you were doing all that. Yeah. Well, let's say this. I came up with this idea. Nobody bit, but maybe we do it for next year. The Reardon Cox boxing match, and then this year I was just going to punch you in the ribs. I think I would have won.
Well, you would have won. You would have had me on the first punch with the broken ribs right now. Yeah, thank you.
By the way, how are you doing with that? Because I can't imagine that's not very uncomfortable still.
A hunting accident, for people that didn't hear about it. I fell into a duck blind and cracked 6 ribs on my left side, and it was about 2 weeks ago now, coming up on the 3rd week, and I'm feeling a lot better than I was. So,
thank goodness.
Thank you.
Ironically, I had a good friend of mine who did the same thing. He fell down some stairs. He just kind of took a wrong step, and he cracked 4 ribs. So, I've never done that before. I've heard that it's because you really can't do anything except just let them heal, right?
Just got to let them heal. That's it, and I hope nobody accidentally pats you on the ribs while you're recovering.
All right, be careful out there, Mark Cox. Tell me about your Responder Rescue raffle that's going on.
Thank you. We do this every year to help responderrescue.org. They step in when first responders get injured in the line of duty. And, boy, the responder rescue folks have really got a great raffle going on this year. It's called the ATF raffle, Mark. It's alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. So I'm going to have 3 winners. Next Wednesday, we'll pick the winners, and people can text responder to 33100 for a chance to win. The tickets are only $1 a piece. All the money goes to responder rescue. And it's really easy to enter. The liquor basket, I'm telling you, I know you don't have any interest in that, but you could stock an entire bar with the stuff I've got. I've got some Pappy Van Winkle and some Weller and all the famous bourbons, and then I've got a bunch of other stuff in there as well. Thanks to my friends over at Lore, they've contributed that. Down at Lit Cigar Lounge, they've contributed a $1,000 package, which is like a night for you and 10 of your friends down there in their private room. And then my friends at the range have donated a concealed carry handgun that's a 9mm CZ. So wow. I got three great prizes, and here's the kicker: the person that donates the most this year overall, whether you win a prize or not, is going to get dinner with blues legend Tony Twist and me and the folks from Responder Rescue. So there's your added incentive if you feel like donating to a great cause. The person that donates the most will get to go to dinner somewhere nice with the Twister.
Hanging out with Twister. My God, I mean, that is a nice little bonus. But no one will know who the highest bidder is, right? They just have to take a shot and try to be the highest bidder.
I'm just encouraging them. You know, yeah. We had some people last year that donated $500, $600, $800. It's a shot in the dark. But if you're feeling generous, put that extra $1 in there so you don't tie with somebody, because we're going to have to flip a coin if that happens.
Okay, Mark, go over again the way to donate and do this with the text. It's very simple, but run that down one more time for us.
Very simple. Text the word responder to 33100. Puts a link to your phone. You can pay with Apple Pay or however you choose to pay on your phone, whatever you got set up on there. And, you get bonus tickets if you share it on social media. It's an easy way to donate. And it's a great charity.
All right. I don't believe you. You have no credibility, so we're going to see if this works here. Let's see. 33100, you said, right?
Yes. Yeah. Right, responder to 33100. You should.
Responder. Let's see here. Just want to make sure it's not a porn link or anything like that. See if we get that back here. Yes, it did come through.
Now you have to donate.
Yeah, no, I will.
Now you got to donate. Now you got to donate, Mark.
Is it Go Rally Up? Is that what it comes up to?
Yeah, Rally Up is the website.
Okay.
It's a special website that helps charities out because they don't take any of the money, and all the money is going directly into the coffers of ResponderRescue.org.
I'm gonna do 27 here. 27. That's $25. That seems like a pretty good deal, right? All right. Now, during the break, I'm going to have to fill all this stuff out because I'm going to do Apple Pay too. But I promise you, I'm going to buy this right now, so it does work. 3,300 responder. They'll send you the link, and that's a great package. I'm probably not eligible, but that's okay. I'm going to make the donation anyway, and we'll see you on Monday afternoon, Cox.
Mark, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Take care. By the way, that is a great prize package.
Yeah,
that
it
he
is.
has. Oh, my goodness. Unbelievable. And then you got the Tony Twist angle as well. I put in a little bumper music for the 5 o'clock hour, one of our favorites here, Sue.
Yes.
We're coming back with Dan O'Neill.
Don't try to sing some. Never let go of the cold. No.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Might have to listen to that on my way home. We have a jam on the Illinois side in both directions. If you are westbound, it starts at Exchange. It goes to just past the King Bridge split. Eastbound showing an accident as well and a jam across the Poplar. Now, 44 westbound slowing in front of the Arch grounds. 64 is slow. Approaching Hampton in pockets all the way out through the 70 split. And westbound 70 slowing at Jennings Station Road. And then it's just slow at K and out at Highway A. But eastbound 70, slow pockets Wright City through Wentzville. We've got 270 northbound with moderate volume, but it's Manchester through Olive. And southbound is Olive in pockets down through Gravois. 55 looks fine. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Well, let's talk about getting you a little bit new carpeting or maybe some hard flooring in your home. And I want you to turn to the experts at Michael's Flooring Outlet here in St. Louis. They have 3 awesome locations. They're open right now. They'll be open tomorrow. They will be closed on Sunday. Mike Reynolds gives the team off. I love that, actually, that they don't have to work on Sundays. But if you have, looks to be a little gloomy this weekend, right? Not the best weather. You're thinking about a flooring project and maybe you haven't pulled the trigger on it. Let me encourage you to do that with the team from Michael's because they do have a lot of experience. The options from soft flooring from Mohawk to hard flooring with Mohawk and other companies, really, it's overwhelming. And that's why I want you to go into the store one-on-one. You can go online. You can order samples right now. You can even use the word 3 free as a code to order some samples shipped to your home. But if you get into the store, you talk to one of the experts, the pros at Michael's, tell them what you're looking for. They got different styles and colors and textures and price points, of course. And you can do these flooring projects on a budget. So contact Michael's today, igotfloor.com, or swing into one of the 3 great locations, Old Town St. Peter's, Darting Prairie, in West County on Olive. And again, the website, Michael's Flooring Outlet at igotfloor.com.
Is your home ready for the holidays? Beat the holiday rush and call our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. Mark Cox here. 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at $139 and take $50 off air duct cleaning. Book online anytime at ZeroResSTL.com.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group.
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw. When we meet our clients for the first time, they have built up a lifetime of savings. Their question is, what can we do with this money so we can live comfortably the rest of our lives? First, we develop a strategy to protect your nest egg from any market losses. Then, we build your own personalized structured income plan that will generate you an income the rest of your life. We put you in control of your money.
You've earned it, and it's our job to make sure you enjoy it. Let our team show you how you can have the retirement of your dreams. Call us now at 314-993-9494 for a no-cost, no-obligation retirement review. You will also get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. We've been helping retirees and pre-retirees retire with confidence for 39 years. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Woke radical liberals are screwing up this country, but Congressman Jason Smith is fighting back. He backed one big, beautiful tax cut for working families, ending Social Security taxes for nearly all seniors, and taxes on tips and overtime gone. So call Congressman Jason Smith at 202-225-4404 and thank him for backing working family tax cuts and putting America first. Paid for by American Prosperity Alliance.
Thanksgiving is the perfect time to reflect on our blessings and share moments with family and friends. May your holiday be filled with love, laughter, and delicious food. Wishing you a happy Thanksgiving from everyone at Kaufman Townsley, St. Louis's injury lawyers.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
This portion of the show is sponsored by Jerry Kelly, heating, air conditioning, electrical, and plumbing.
Freedom has a frequency. 97.1 FM Talk. 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative.
Not a soul up ahead and nothing behind. There's a
I was multitasking here just a moment ago, Sue, as you know, and my guest walked into the studio, Dan O'Neill, and I didn't even notice he had that fancy hat on. You look very suave and sophisticated.
Dapper is the word you're looking for.
Irish, is that what it is?
Yeah.
That's the Irish hat. By the way, I can barely see him. It's weird because just to describe the studio, there's a big TV monitor right behind Dan. And Dan, truthfully, you've been in here before. That monitor is usually on, and it provides a lot more light. Now I can see you because Sue's using the ring lights, which is nice.
Video? Do you do that?
Yeah, we're on video. Of course,
wow.
you know, this is a big-time
I would've
radio
dressed
show. Are you
better.
kidding me? Well, no, you're fine. Look at me. I dress like John Fetterman every day. I don't really worry about it very much. So I just want to tell a true story here. Dan and I, we know each other. We've gone way back. He's been on the show many times. He texts me a lot. And then I think I missed the fact that you had written a children's book. So he starts doing some things that are very creative the other day, and he's text messaging me pictures of people from history.
Yeah.
Who did you put in the pictures? There
was one with the Fab Four. That
right,
was great.
with
Great
the
to have
Beatles
them
holding
get
the cover of the
behind
book,
Wow,
right?
that's
one with
funny.
Elvis.
Elvis, that's
really
right.
Appreciate that.
So I'm just getting up the other morning when he's texting me, and I'm so lost. And I'm like, Dan, what the hell are you talking about? And then I realized that he had written this book the day Avery Rose lost her nose, which is a children's book. Now, if we're being honest, this is not necessarily your typical genre. That's fair to say, right?
That is fair to say, yes.
Because you do sports books.
Although I've dabbled in other things. I've written some, fiction pieces for magazines and poetry and things like that. But this is my first children's book.
So how did this come about?
Well, really, I never intended to write a children's book. I just, my granddaughter, Avery Rose, she was my first grandchild. Now I have 8. But when she was she was 4 or 5, I just started playing around with her name and just kind of noodling or doodling, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
With phrases and putting sentences together, and I was just playing around. But I got to the point where I had so much of it that I had to do something. I had to get out of it. I had to figure a way out of it. And I would put it aside I probably put it aside for more than a year at a time at one point.
Really?
It's really
cute.
Yeah.
But then I picked it up and I finally figured out how to sort of resolve it, and which was to make a story that's kind of a takeoff on the I Got Your Nose game.
Right. Yeah, that's cool.
Parents do or grandparents do with their kids. So
who did the animation here?
The animation is an interesting story. It was done by a woman in Germany, Mattia Anik, and I've never even had a conversation with her.
Really?
Yeah.
Just email?
Not a real comment.
Right.
I've talked to her electronically, but
that
it was all through emails and things like that.
But how did you find her?
Well, there's a site called Upwork.
Okay.
Where it's kind of a clearinghouse for artists and illustrators. And you go on there and you can look at their work and stuff, and then you can put your work or your job up. And if they're interested, they bid on it.
So this is why this is interesting to me. Well, for 2 reasons. One, I always make anything about myself, and that's what I'm about to do here.
It's a gift.
I like to be honest about that. But no, this is a true story. So 10 years ago, probably, my wife sketches out a children's book, and it's got a pretty good concept. It's called Pickles Aren't for Puppies. Well, that's okay.
All right.
Because I'm just going to say the title. Pickles Aren't for Puppies, right? I came up with the ending. All right, and it's a good ending. Believe it, it's the only thing I contributed.
Mm-hmm.
But we never. There's probably even a couple of people listening right now. At one point, I talked about this, and I had some nice people from the audience reach out, and I never connected with them because we don't have an illustrator, if you will. So I've been frustrated with my wife, and the only reason we've never done this is because my wife's a workaholic, and she used to work for your brother, you know that,
right. Yeah.
and she has so much on her plate. But I've always thought it was not even to make money or something. It's just a good concept that she came up with. So I might have to look into the illustrator aspect.
You go on there. And
is it reasonable? Can you do it for a reasonable amount?
Yes. Well, reasonable is up for grabs.
Yeah.
But
whoever, she did a great job here.
You put the job up and how much you're willing to pay.
Okay.
Oh.
And then if they're interested at that price point, then they jump in, and if they're not, they don't. So
it's a
that's
beautiful
what I
book,
did.
Dan.
It is a beautiful book. How old is your granddaughter?
Avery's now 9.
9, right.
She was, like I said, she was probably 4 or 5 when we started.
Because this is kind of the target would be for the 3, 4, 5.
Well, I'd
6,
say 3
right?
and up. There's 2 ways to look at it. I mean, it's fun to read, I think, for anybody. I think Sue will back me on that.
Yes, it really is.
It's fun to read, and if you're worried about, well, is it for children who can read yet?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, it certainly is, but it's also for children who just want to hear a good story or look at a book. So
look at the I got to show you
cute.
some of the blurbs. You know how media people do blurbs?
Yeah.
I want to offer a couple examples here. John Pertzborn, he was just on this show. Remember,
Yes,
he retired.
he was.
John Pertzborn is quoted, the most adorable kids book of the year. Here's Paige Halsey, KMOV TV. I like Paige. From the moment I read this book, I absolutely loved it. It's adorable. Here's Mark Reardon from 97.1 FM Talk. Hey, Dan, I had no idea you wrote a children's book. It looks great, unquote.
Yeah.
So that one's on there, too.
That
Will you
didn't
add
even
that
cost
to the
me.
blurb?
The other things
No, I'll give that
cost
one
a
to you for
little money,
free.
but yours didn't cost
Yeah.
any.
Well, I apologize for all the confusion. Now, can you get this in all your traditional bookstores, which don't exist anymore?
No.
Okay,
No, you
just
can't.
online?
Yeah, you can. You can get it online at my website, danoneal.net. You can get it at Christopher's gift shop in Kirkwood. I just did a thing there
nice.
last weekend. So they have some books. And Blend, a hairstyling place in Maplewood, which is owned by my daughter-in-law, who Avery is her daughter.
Okay.
They have some books. You can get it there.
Awesome.
But otherwise, you have to go to the website, danoneal.net, where you can get that book, and you can get any of my other books that are available
The
there.
Day Avery Rose Lost Her Nose. So you couldn't, at this point, you couldn't even really find this one on Amazon, as you're saying. You just
No, you
got to go
can
to your
actually,
website.
yes. You
Oh,
can
you can
find it, but they only have the soft cover.
Oh, no, you want the hardcover.
Oh, you do. And listen, there's
I
a
would
part at the end where you can the kids can draw noses on faces. It's just a really
cool.
sweet book.
Can I have that copy for my grandson?
Sure,
I'm going to give
absolutely.
that to Idris when he comes in next week. Well, while we have you here, Dan, let's pick your brain about some sports topics.
Yeah.
Let's start with the Blues. What the hell?
I got a theory about the Blues.
Okay.
You have to follow me on this.
Okay.
They remind me of the 69 Cardinals. Now, it's not a perfect analogy because the 68 Cardinals won the pennant, went to the World Series. Of course, the Blues didn't do that last spring. But the 68 Cardinals won the pennant, went to the World Series. They're in the driver's seat, Game 7. They've got Bob Gibson on the mound. They've got the lead. And then Jim Northrup hits the ball that Kurt Flood mishandles, and they wind up losing the World Series. The Blues had unbelievable finish last year. I think they had the most points in the league over the last 30 games after the Four Nations thing. They make the playoffs against all odds. They draw the President's Trophy winning Winnipeg Jets, top team in the league. They've got them beat Game 7. Then they give up 2 goals in the last 2 minutes, including one with 2 seconds left, and wind up losing the game in double overtime. Now, in 69, the only thing they won the pennant by 9 games the year before. The only difference was they went out and got Joe Torre and Vada Pinson, 2 all-star players, and added those to their already.
That was the only difference in the roster.
Yeah.
And where'd they finish?
Well, they also had Gibson, Carlton, Ray Washburn, Nellie Briles. They finished 4th. Everybody thought they were going to be world beaters. I mean, they had an outfield of Flood, Brock, and Vada Pinson.
Wow.
And they finished 4th. The Blues, after last spring's finish, the only thing they did was add a couple of players that they needed, and everyone thought, man, this team was really good at the end of the last season. Now they're going to be even better.
Yeah, right. Well, that's the expectation.
And they have been really disappointing. So
is there, I mean, what I've said, and this is just because I know what happens, and I'm not picking on anyone. Jim Montgomery, I'm sure, has great coaching credentials and all that, but what usually happens when you get off to this bad of a start is the coach gets fired. Now, in this case, maybe that's not going to happen because they're paying him, but, I mean, there doesn't seem to be a way that the team is turning it around right now.
Well, the only thing I would say is when he first got here, for about a month, they weren't much different than what they had been. And then he figured out a way to get them going. So maybe that will happen again.
That's early.
It's early, but they're getting to a point where they're playing themselves out of the playoff picture.
Already.
I mean, they would have to do something spectacular to make the playoffs. But it's weird how, they haven't gotten off to a good start in about 4 or 5 seasons.
Yeah.
They start every season this way. So, then, like you said, what they've done is change the coach. We're not going to change the coach because he's got a 5-year contract.
Right.
So
got to figure something out.
Yeah, you can't always blame it on the coach.
And I'm not blaming it on the coach.
Yeah,
I'm just
I know
saying
you're
that's
not.
the pattern.
Honestly, Mark, it's silly to blame anybody because nobody's playing. The only people who are playing well, they've got 3 or 4 guys who are playing well. That's it. Everybody else is not playing well. So to single anybody out,
it's unfair.
Really kind of silly.
Dan O'Neill is here. We're talking about sports. He has written a children's book, though, called The Day Avery Rose Lost Her Nose. But can you offer me, and we're just have a couple minutes left here, is there any hope that you can offer fans of the Cardinals for this offseason and moving into next spring? Because now we don't have hope, and then this lockout, they're going to probably screw that up in 27. So this could be painful here.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a lot different than last year. I really don't. I mean, the lockout not the lockout, but the negotiations is a big deal. That's 1 year away.
Mm-hmm.
And the Cardinals, I think, have made it kind of obvious that they're not going to go out and get some huge contract or something,
they have.
not knowing what the environment's going to be, what the landscape's going to be after the negotiations. It's quite possible it could be a strike. I mean, they're going to try to get a salary cap, and the players are over my dead
What do you think
body.
about that, by the way?
Well, it's been great for look
Other
what
leagues.
it's done for the other sports.
That's why I like it. But the
Baseball's
players don't want it at all.
Baseball's the only. Well, why would you?
Well,
I mean,
because the
they're
NFL has
ridiculous money.
But look at the NFL players; they're still making ridiculous money. They play.
I'm with you.
15 games a year, 16 games a year.
But they need a cap and they need a floor as well.
Yeah,
that's what hockey has, and hockey. I mean, it's super competitive. I mean, the difference between the best teams and the worst teams is very
razor thin,
very small.
right? Absolutely. Yeah. Well, this is what I love about the NFL because you let's face it, we got surprises. I don't think anyone expected the Buffalo Bills to have as many losses as they do right now, and the Chiefs the same way. I actually expected regression from the Chiefs just because of history. Nothing. I'm no smarter than anyone else, but how long can you sustain that level of success?
Swifties, it's
well, okay,
it's
you're gonna
not
blame
good
Taylor
for
Swift. Dan, thank you for coming in. It's always great to see you.
You too.
And I'd love to talk sports a little bit more, but we're out of time. But again, the book, DanO'Neill.com is where you can find the book, The Day Avery Rose Lost Her Nose. Yeah, you got some appearances?
Yes, this weekend, starting tomorrow at 9 to 3 tomorrow at Lindbergh High is a craft fair. I'll be there with Avery. She's going to sit with me for a while. And
love that.
Yeah, she loves it too. And then the following weekend, I'll be at Sunset Hills Community Center for Small Business Day, which is the 29th. And then the weekend after that at Oakville High School with a craft fair.
Wow, you got a busy schedule,
Mr.
don't
Craft
you?
Fair. That's what happens when you self-publish. It's all on you.
Well, thanks for coming in. You kind of reminded me that Leland Vittert was on the other day, and he made an offer to our audience about essentially covering the price of admission at Hearth and Home in Ladue tomorrow. I think that's what the place is called. Does that sound right, Sue?
Yeah.
I'll have to look it
Hearth
up.
and Home
because
rings
basically
a bell.
they're doing his book. Dan allowed me to promote another book just because I thought of it.
Yeah, do it while I'm on.
I know,
That's
exactly.
great.
It's really professional. But if you go to the event that Leland's doing, it's like a $10 ticket. But the first 10 Mark Reardon show, if you drop my name, you'll get in for free,
I see.
essentially. If that
Well, can I just point out that you'll get in for free at Lindbergh High School? whether
thank
drop
you.
that
There's
in.
no
Solid.
price of tickets
Yes,
there.
Thank you.
All right, Dan, this is cool that you did this book. I love it. Thanks for coming in.
It finally clears things up for you, doesn't it?
He has no idea how confused I was. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? It was early in my defense.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Accident eastbound 6440 near Big Bend, and it was blocking the center lane. It still is. So if you are traveling in that area, just be aware. And they're going to, of course, have crews on the scene. I do see some flashing lights, so they are on the way. And if you are traveling westbound, it's just the usual volume, maybe a little lighter. And that's approaching Hampton out through McCausland. Eastbound is slowing again at the Boone Bridge. Westbound slows just at Prospect on out. Now, westbound 70 is jammed, headed for Warrenton. Eastbound, some slow pockets approaching Forestell through about Wentzville. And if you're headed in from Illinois, there's some volume westbound and eastbound on the Poplar Street Bridge. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Get ready for the 38th annual Guns N' Hoses. It's St. Louis's biggest charity boxing event supporting the Backstoppers. Hear it right here the night before Thanksgiving. Coverage starts at 6:30. Guns N' Hoses live on 97.1 FM Talk. Sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Cooling, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Surprise! Surprise! You know, surprise parties, they can be fun, right? Well, financial surprises, not so much. Especially when you're retired. Like finding out you owe more in taxes than you thought you would, or having to go back to work to make ends meet. Maybe you think you'll be okay, but why not double check just to be sure? Call Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions and schedule a retirement double check. Marvin and his team have been helping families plan for retirement for more than 15 years. Call 314-373-1598 to schedule your retirement double check with Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions. That's 314-373-1598. Don't let a financial surprise derail your retirement dreams. Give Marvin and the team a call, 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and in Illinois.
Almost forgot. I have another pair of tickets for Foreigner and Leonard Skinner. They're going to be at the Amphitheater on August 6th next summer. Caller number 3 on the contest line. You're a winner. You get a pair of tickets from 97.1 FM Talk and Live Nation. 314-241-9797.
All right, you pick them. You don't have to take my word for it. Lots of 5-star reviews out there from my friends at Rhino Shield because, like me, there are a lot of satisfied Rhino Shield customers. And what does that mean? Well, maybe you're satisfied because it's exactly the color and beautiful, vivid color that you wanted, right, with the trim and all of that. They can do in different colors, just like you would with regular paint, but it lasts for so long. Maybe you're happy because you're not out there scraping or having to pay somebody to scrape and paint every 4 or 5 years. That's what happens with regular paint. Not Rhino Shield. Goes on thick, waterproofs your house completely, protects it from the rays of the sun, gives you an insulation factor. It's fantastic. They've used it on HGTV on unpainted brick, block, aluminum, steel, hardy cement board. It's fantastic on all of it. Call them today for a free evaluation, 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
Sponsored by Progressive. We make the claims process easy so you could get back on the road in no time. It's why over 43 million drivers trust Progressive. See for yourself at Progressive.com.
You're listening to The Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
This is my favorite song right now, Sue. You know Mumford & Sons, Marcus Mumford?
Sure.
He starts singing here just a little bit.
When you can't win for losing, and the beggars start choosing the chaos.
But he also does a duet. You know who Hosier is?
Uh-huh.
Hosier's awesome. So about midway in this song, in the second verse, it sounds like this.
Steady yourself. Your tumbleweed words, be a street corner preacher, or just feed the bird.
And I will play you the chorus when we go out from my bumper music, but it's really a cool song. It's called Rubber Band Man. It came out a couple of weeks ago, and it's on repeat. You know, I do this with songs that I hear over and over and over again. If you look at my Untitled, the account that I use, the music service, they do this, I'm sure, on Spotify. Your most listened or your most listened for a particular month. That one's probably going to be my most listened for both October and November, or November and December, because I love it so much. And I'll do that when we wrap up Audio Cut of the Day. But let me do this here.
Playback ready.
Now, the Audio Cut of the Day.
Okay, so Mamdani and Trump met today. And you would think, you know, like yesterday we were talking about this, like, man, this is going to be like Zelensky and Trump in the Oval Office. It's going to be really uncomfortable. Nope, it was pretty normal. They seemed to get along, and Trump even said some nice things about Mamdani in the aftermath of all this, so I was a little surprised. But here is what Mamdani said in the aftermath.
What I really appreciate about the president is that the meeting that we had focused not on places of disagreement, which there are many, and also focused on the shared purpose that we have in serving New Yorkers. And frankly, that is something that could transform the lives of the 8.5 million people who are currently struggling under a cost of living crisis, with 1 in 4 living in poverty. And the meeting came back again and again to what it could look like to lift those New Yorkers out of struggle and start to deliver them a city that they could do more than just struggle to afford it, but actually start to live in it.
And the president said,
there will be topics that we disagree on. I think we'll probably come to a conclusion, and ultimately he'll convince me, or I'll convince him. You know, it's for the good of New York. Ultimately, it's for the good of New York. I don't care about affiliations or parties or anything else. I want to see if this city could be unbelievable, if he could be a spectacular success, I'd be very happy.
Well, I just called him a communist a couple of days ago, but that was rather presidential is the word I'm looking for. I have no idea. All right, the place in Ladue, by the way, is called Hearth and Soul. I apologize, not Hearth and Home.
Oh, okay.
And it's hosting Leland Vittert's book signing for Born Lucky, A Dedicated Father, A Grateful Son in My Journey with Autism, tomorrow starting at noon, Hearth and Soul, and it's like $10, and all the proceeds go to Autism Speaks. But if you're a Mark Reardon Show listener, and he said he'd cover the first 20 people. I said, I don't know if I have 20 listeners, but if you want to go tomorrow, drop my name, Leland's going to pick up your $10 ticket. How about that? That's pretty cool.
Nice.
Sue, have a great weekend. We
You
will
too.
see you at the Guns N' Hoses weigh-in on Monday afternoon. It's going to be a lot of fun. We start there at Helen Fitzgerald's at 3 o'clock. We do the whole show live. I'll go out here with this Mumford & Sons Hosier song. I love it. It's my favorite. Go Mizzou, M-I-Z. We'll talk Monday.
It's a long way from the crack to the grave. You know that I remember everything. When I said forever, you said get back in the car. Nothing lasts forever, baby. No, it breaks my heart. You're a world away, and you still the same. You know that I remember everything.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
We've got a stall or an accident eastbound 6440 in the right center lane, really close to Big Bend. The flashing lights on the scene and a jam behind it that goes back really to McKnight. Now, westbound 64 is lined up. It's Hampton out through Hanley. We've got westbound traffic jammed on the Poplar Street Bridge. 70 westbound looks good out of downtown. Little slow at Wentzville. Eastbound, that's a slow go. It's moderate volume, but it's approaching Forestdale through Wentzville. And again at 141. Southbound 270, moderate volume at Doherty Ferry. And again at 21. If you're headed into Illinois, things are fine on the bridges downtown. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Well, let's do a bathroom project at a very reasonable price with the team from Michael's Baths. Mike Gower and his daughter Melody will answer the phone call when you call, but they have a great operation. They've been doing this for decades, and regularly, and you can test this out yourself when you call them, they'll come in 30 to 50% less on the bids, and they're still going to do top-notch quality work. All they do is bathrooms. I think that's important. That's what they're experts in. And they're offering you a free shower door or $500 off your project when you mention my name or 97.1 FM Talk. One of the trends is to, switch out a tub into a walk-in shower. They have shower bases with these non-slip surfaces, so you don't have to worry about the non-skid showers. They have an option for you to replace your tile and grout with shower walls that have the look and the benefit of natural stone, but they're real easy to maintain and clean. They come in 20 colors. They'll bring them out when they, talk to you about the project. Again, all they do is bathrooms. They'd love to hear from you. Those bids come in a lot lower than the competition, and you get a free shower door or $500 off your project right now at Michael's. Call 636-775-0800. The website, michaelsbaths.com. Tell them that we sent you in.
When it comes to affordable term life insurance, everyone's whistling the Big Lou tune. If you're over 50, maybe a bit porky, or have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost about $200 a month. Even if you're not in perfect health, call Big Lou, because he specializes in finding big chunks of affordable term life insurance for just about everyone. Don't let diabetes or other health glitches keep you from owning $500,000 to $1 million or more of term life insurance. For affordable term life insurance, call Big Lou. Don't hesitate. Call 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.